Hi everyone, another Saturday. Welcome to Synth Geekery, episode 177. Yep, you've had to stare at my face 177 times, so give yourself a pat on the back for that, because that is a bloody good effort, and I don't know if I could do it. I actually do have to stare at myself as well, so pat on the back for me as well. No, good to have you. It's a beautiful day over here in Perth, Western Australia, which is where I'm streaming from, so hello to anyone else who happens to be in my lovely city. Sing out in the chat if you're there already. If you're not, bad luck to you. Anyway, what's this show about? It's about synths and geeking out. That's why we call it Synth Geekery. Pretty obvious, isn't it? If you didn't quite work that out, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Maybe you're not smart enough to be on this channel. So bye-bye. No, just kidding. Anyway, nice. What have we got today? We've got no topic today. We've got 3 video guests to join us when they decide to get off their butts and rock up. They're probably already on their way in, but they're not here yet. And yeah, what did you guys think of last week? Last week we talked about modular planning. Was that an interesting subject? Was that a bit dry? For some of you, it might have been a bit dry. How's the chatties going? Let's say hello to the chatties. Oh, look at them all coming in. Wow, it's quite a few of you already. What's happening is it's starting to cool down and you guys are getting bored, want to stay inside a bit more. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it's nice to have you. I forget who was first. No, it's escaped me. Someone making jokes about puppies. Anyway, Martin Taylor's there. Big hello to Martin. Inverted Popes, big hello to IP, who's one of our channel members. Future World Machines, hello to you, also one of our channel members, which is awesome. And IP is, Inverted Popes is one of our moderators too, one of our long illustrious moderators in the chat. So be on your best behaviour, because he'll just kick you. He'll kick you where it hurts. Anyway, who else we got? We've got Cresthead, nice to see you, mate. Path Lake is there, big hello to you. Keith in Watford, nice to see him, another one of our channel members. Geert's there, big hello. Who else? ASIO Head, nice to see Bert. And they're all sort of starting out. Kev Human, and what else? F Rose, which is Eddie, nice to see Eddie, haven't seen him for a little while. Wagoo's there, big hello to Daniel. And then we've got Wayne Murray. Haven't seen Wayne for a little while. Nice to have him back. Skylab Music, it's good to see you. Culture of Ghosts, hello peeps. And that's about it for now, but you guys are all sort of flocking in. The numbers are up, numbers are down, whatever happens. It's all cool. It's all groovy. Now, what did everyone say? My room looks tilted, says Eddie. Does it? Let's have a look. It's not tilted. Maybe the cam got bumped. I don't know. I don't think so. Not sure what's going on there. Looks all right. Whoa! Wrong way. It's not tilted. I think it just might be the camera. Anyway. Just trying to catch up what the chatties are saying. But slicker intro, but more brutal. Yeah. We don't do things that professionally here. It's not worth it, because, you know, when you don't get paid, who cares? Just be yourself. Just let see, I let my hair hang down because I've got so much of it. It just hangs down everywhere. I'm like a hippie, and I've got a big ponytail at the back. Can you see? There it is. No, just kidding. Right. So yeah, we talked about modular planning last week, and I kind of thought we kind of touched on it. I kind of thought we kind of touched on it. I hoped it was kind of like a beginner sort of level. I didn't really want to go into sort of nerdy level stuff. But what I did say is, when we were playing with the modulars last week, I did say that I was expecting a module to come in, and it did. And that's that big shiny module that stands out like anything else right there in the middle. And probably what I should do is zoom in on it so I can show you guys. Now, you guys who know me will know that I'm an absolute nut when it comes to phasers. I love phaser effects. And yep, you guessed it. We are talking about the module right here, the Dreadbox Euphoria. Now this has been out for a while. Yes, it's nothing special or new, or it's not like a latest release or anything like that. But I actually haven't had a chance to get my hands on one, and I don't know whether it's because I think there's a few reasons. I think that every time I wanted to get one, they didn't have stock, and every time I did want one and I went back to go get it, I didn't have money. So yeah, so eventually I just found one, just happened to have stock, and bang, here it is now. Anyway, do you guys want to have a listen to it? Who has not heard the Euphoria yet? Now this is not your usual phaser. Yes, we can do usual phaser sounds out of this. It is an 8-stage phaser. It is also analog, but this thing has got a bit of grit. A bit of grit, yes, it's a bit aggressive, which I think, if you guys know Dreadbox, that is kind of what you'd expect from these guys. It's not going to be a little ballerina sitting in the corner doing everything perfect. This thing is going to be, it's going to have mud on it. It's going to be dirty. It's going to bring footprints all through the carpet. This is what this phase is about. So if you kind of like that idea, then yeah, here we go. Now, what should we plug into it? I think we should sort of get something going. Now, I've kind of been working on a little beat here, and don't laugh, it's completely unfinished, so it's going to sound a bit naff. But let's get this going. So let me know if you can hear it. Right, so all right, we'll turn off the peak, that's the lead. And let's get the phaser going through. Right, so we need now we don't hear anything coming out of there. Why is that? All right, turn it on. All right, let's get something patched into here. Let's do that kind of high-pitchy sort of sound. Let's make that a bit deeper. Right. So we're going to need to go out of the phaser, into the mixer, and out of here, into the phaser. Let's turn some sounds off. All right. Yeah, slick professional intro. That's what I do here, slick professional intros. If you think that's what I do here, then you are completely, gravely mistaken. Right, so yeah, what do you guys think of that phaser? I want to put, it's got a, where is it? Oh, I keep going to the wrong camera. It's got, next to that input there, there's actually a line level input there. So I might actually put, see if we can fire up a string machine, like the VC340, which is a Behringer copy of the VP330 from Roland. Yes, I know. What do you do when you're poor like me and you can't afford things? Got to get clones. Yep. I think we put a string machine through it and see what it sounds like. I haven't tried that yet. So literally all I've done is just put that, what is it? It's a 2600 VCO through it, through a, I'll show you. I will show you what is going through it. Because I can just zoom up here. Whoa, not the wall, not the wall. Hey, calm down, people. Maths is controlling the envelope. Okay, so that's what's controlling the envelope. There's the oscillator. Okay, and there's the filter next to it. So it is they're all Behringer stuff. So Behringer oscillator, it's a 2600 VCO. It is, what is it? It's a sawtooth coming out of that. Going into that voltage controlled low pass filter, which is a Moog modular clone ladder filter thing. And that then goes straight in. Oh, there's a VCA. Sorry, I do lie. It doesn't go straight in. It goes into that VCA there, the System 100 clone VCA. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you guys. I forgot to put a VCA in my little planning thing last week. So, and those who follow me on Discord will know that because I mentioned it to them. So I had to pull out, what did I pull out? I pulled out the Planner 2 module, which is that joystick module. I kind of felt like that was the least needed in there. So I pulled that out. Oh, and also I definitely put in the quantizer, which you can see there, it's running. Oh, actually, that's something interesting. So if we play this again, and I'll just mute some parts, and we'll just have the, what should we have? We'll have no bass line. We'll just have that sequence going. Listen to this carefully because you will hear it play just semitones, right? Or just tones, sorry. What am I saying? You'll hear it just play the full tones, and then I'll add the semitones in. And you can see on that quantizer, the left-hand column is lit up, and the right-hand column next to it, or the column right next to it, is not. And they're actually piano keys. So let's do it. You can actually see it stepping through. So if we add the semitones in, so I get a minor or a major, so I can just turn those off again. Very clever quantizer that is. I still haven't, it's still really, really hard for me to work out how to use that thing. And I've done so many videos on it and read manuals and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, it still confuses the pants out of me, but I managed to do some basics on it anyway. What is good about it though, is it does have four voltage per octave inputs and outputs, and 4 gates as well. I don't really understand why it needs the gates. So that's one thing I don't get with this thing. Someone might be able to explain it to me. But yeah, white keys only, exactly, Chris said. White keys only, let's be racist and play only the white keys. Yeah, so I kind of feel like the quantizer is doing its thing because we are using the Behringer sequencer in this, which I didn't tell you guys. How amiss of me. So that is the 960. That's what's controlling it. Now the 960 is a bit of a wild beast, right? So if we play that again, you'll see the 960. Right, now the 960 is clocked by the Pamela's new workout. And the 960 is a bit of a weird thing, right? Ah, geez, I can't find my pen, my extender pen thing. I'm just going to have to go over there, I think. Is it in my drawer? Where's my extender pen gone? No, can't find it. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, I'll just use a ruler. Right, so here in this kind of myriad of stacks is where the clock comes from, and that comes from Pam's. It's going all the way over this side somewhere, and Pam's is clocking it. So to show you that, what we can do, the reason why we want to do that, if you look on the left-hand side of this thing, it is insane. Whoever designed this thing, yeah, hats off to him because it's so cool. If you look on the left-hand side of this thing, do you see how it says oscillator? Like right over here, it says oscillator. That is not an oscillator. That is basically a tempo machine. It's the clock. It's the internal clock for this thing, right? And what makes this kind of insane is, you know, if you're just running this thing as an internal clock, that's what you'd use. So you could actually send clock out from this thing and clock all your other stuff. But another way to do it is you can actually send clock in, which is where that stack is there. And what we can do is we can turn this back on. I've got the drum kick there just to sort of give you guys a bit of a reference. Now let's move the camera around to Pam's, which is way over here. And you can see Pam's just here. Now if I bring that to 8, it's currently doing ×2. Let's slow it down to ×1. Now that doesn't sound good, right? But one of the cool things about this is I can, where is it? No, it's not offset. It's width, not width, it's phase, there it is. Now we're off by half a beat. That makes that a little bit more interesting now. So it's one of the cool things you can do with Pam's. And we'll just bring that back around. So you can see it cycles on the off beat now. That's why I wanted Pam's to be in charge of that thing, because it's got so much more CV control than what this thing can do. And this thing was, you know, designed back in the whatever it was. Hang on, let's turn this thing off. So it's really annoying me. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking about the phaser. Geez, this is how my mind works, people. We were talking about the phaser, and now we're talking about the 960. And yes, we do go off on tangents. Isn't that great? Anyway, so no guests have arrived yet. That's okay. Yeah, the pointer, the old builder's ruler, hey? Look at that. Yeah. Oops, I've just smashed my keyboard with it now. I know Darren's on his way in because he's rocked up into chat, so that is good. Quick drink of the water because I'm going to be talking a fair bit. So we didn't set a topic this week because I didn't think we don't have to set a topic every week. We can just chat. And I did have a few things to show you guys, and I thought it was kind of a bit over the top. I just want to keep an eye on what you guys have been saying. Everyone's talking about my pointer. Anyway, back to the phaser. I think later on, as a bit of a teaser, we'll go and pull out the VC340, which is over there, and we'll plug that into, actually, we might even be able to use the strike FET. Anyway, we'll see. I might be able to pipe the strike FET into it because I think I've got a strike FET coming in here from somewhere into my Eurorack. Anyway, we'll work that out. But in terms of getting this thing sounding even more kind of gnarly, this thing distorts like hell. And that is kind of what I wanted to show you, and I didn't get a chance to do that. So we'll turn that drum beat off, I think, too. It's starting to annoy me. What we might do is turn the drum beat off. So we go menu there, turn that off, and turn me off. Don't need me. Yes, there are effects running other than the phaser, which I can turn off. For now, let's turn them off because it's clouds and it's there we go. So there you go, some aggression. What do you guys think of that? Aggression. Who likes a bit of aggression? Who likes to slap things around a bit in their modular? I think that was pretty aggressive as a phaser. I don't think I've ever heard a phaser that aggressive. I mean, obviously you could put phasers through distortion and stuff like that, but geez, that is aggressive, hey? Isn't that a thing of beauty? There is literally no need to put it through distortion, and you can tame that. You can definitely tame that. So all I'm using is the line level input instead of the other input, and you can tame it just by bringing that level down on the left-hand side. I think it just goes really, really crazy, and yeah, cool. Me being a phaser aficionado person, I love phasers, as you guys know. That is very quickly moving into one of my favorite phasers, and I've only had it for, what's today? Saturday, 24 hours. I like it. I've got a Mogafoga phaser, and it distorts, but it doesn't distort in a nice way, it distorts in a bad way. So the only way to get distortion on that phaser is to either bring a distorted sound into it, and then you'd have to do that at a sort of reasonable level so it doesn't distort again, and then have the phaser catch on to that distortion, and you get that sort of, you know, different effect. Or you bring the phaser sound into a distortion circuit after, and I kind of find that there's kind of just some differences with that, so either before or after. But this thing is in, so it's kind of distorting in it, and that kind of gives it a different sort of flavor, which I like. And I think it's, I don't know, tell us in the chat if you guys think that a phaser that distorts within itself is kind of a more unique thing. I don't know. Has anyone else seen anything like that before? I kind of think that's a cool thing. I always like things that do things differently. And that's what I like about Dreadbox. They do think about things outside the square. So yeah. Darren's here, so I should probably add him into. He's probably swearing at me, and yeah, we don't like that. Darren.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway. Okay, where should we put Darren? Put him up the top. Well, yeah, we won't talk about Darren swearing. All right, first guy up the top, Darren, and there should be Ian should be here, and we should also get. Brooksy, I don't actually know if Brooksy's coming. He hasn't said he's not. So let's put Ian there. Hi, Ian.
Good afternoon.
We don't have Andy Synth Addict today because he's been touring, not touring, but like going to like concerts in LA. So that's where he is. Yeah, I need to fix up your sound again as I usually do.
All right.
Guest 3. Because we come in.
Hi, Darren.
There we go. You are sorted now.
Hi, Ian.
Hi,
how's things?
Right, matey?
Let's see what your levels are like, gents.
Can't complain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How's that?
Okay. Can you come up a bit?
Yeah, I can.
I could bring you up here, but I think it's better if you can come up your end first. Darren, just give you a whirl.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think you could come up a bit too.
Testing 1, 2. Is that any better?
Really?
Yeah, that's better.
I'm just about hitting yellow there.
Yeah, that's okay. You could probably
yellow.
You could probably come. What is yellow? You're not touching Boris,
Yellow
are you?
is before. Sorry.
Don't hit Boris.
It's a Focusrite Scarlet, so it's green, then yellow, then red.
Right. Oh, yellow's okay.
Yeah.
Now, I am getting... Let me just see who it is that I'm getting it back through. Hang on, one sec. Yellow. Yeah, Ian, it's through you. Now, I don't know if it's through your headphones being picked up by the mic. 1, 2...
It might be. Hello?
Sit back a little bit for a sec. Just sort of scoot back a bit.
Okay.
1, 2.
2. Testing 1, 2. 1, 2.
1, 2.
3.
Yeah, I can still hear it. So I don't know where it's coming in from. It's weird.
I've got nothing on in the studio.
Yeah.
Apart from the headphones.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just put up with it. It's not too bad. It's very, very, very quiet. So, and I did hear it last week. But yeah, it's something.
These are open, so it's.
Yeah, it could be coming out of the headphones. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of feel like I'm still too loud. I did listen a little bit to the stream last week, and I thought I was still a little bit loud. I'm going to come down. I'm going to drop that down to 23. There we go. How's that? Is that quieter now for me?
It sounded fine before to me.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue neither.
I thought I was peaking, and I don't know if it's me or the plug-in or what. 1, 2, 3. Let's get that correct anyway. So I'm not gaining myself anything like that. There's no EQ. All right, it's pretty natural. I do have RX voice. No, RX. I'll tell you what, guys. Everyone wonders what do YouTubers do with their mics. I literally have only one plugin. RX voice denoise is the only plugin that I've got running on it, and that's because I don't have any treatment in here.
All right, okay.
So it will reverb a bit. You guys will probably hear it reverb when I sort of shout in here. Eddie's saying you're half a dB too hot, so maybe go half a dB down. Yeah.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Right.
And Aaron's just...
How's about that?
Darren is just perfect, as he likes to be. So yeah.
Isn't he always?
So yeah, sexy
No, Ian.
Sexy phaser modules. Sexy phaser modules, guys. Ooh. So, what else did I want to show you guys? So, for those who've been following me along, you guys know that I've got a broken phaser flanger pedal from MXR, right? And that's the one where I had to do the bodge wiring job on it. Okay? So yes, this is broken. I haven't got any sort of further with troubleshooting the electronic side of it yet because I've just been too busy. But what I have done is I've gone taken off like a jet in making this into a Eurorack module. So I've ordered a faceplate for it. In fact, this is made in Germany. It's purchased through RS Electronics. So by the way, RS Electronics used to, well, still do, have always, for many, many, many years, have made the Eurorack stuff before it was music. It was, you know, just sort of test equipment stuff. So you always were able to get these things. And that is one solid piece of metal, right? Nice and thick, okay? A little out of focus. But that sucker fits on there like a dream. There is literally plenty of room around that. So that's a decent size HP. I think that's, Darren, I think that's like 24 HP or something like that. So it's going to be a fairly girthy module.
I'll go with you.
You can go with me. Yep. I will take you places that you've never been before.
I've never been.
Is that the same RS
that?
Well, I want to come to Australia.
You can come.
My future daughter-in-law is Australian, so I will be coming to Australia at some point in the future.
Well, you come and have beers or whatever with me.
I'll come and say hi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the same RS that's here in the UK then?
Yeah, it's the international RS components, electronics, whatever they call themselves. Yep. Now they're a little bit pricey, so I don't recommend this as being, you know, the most economical way of getting them. But I did get, while I was at it, I thought I'd get a few others. So got different sort of sizes, you know, got a few different sizes here. Got a few others. And if anyone's interested, I will, in fact, I even got a really thin one. It's a 3 HP. I will put in the Discord chat during the week, I'll put the part numbers in there for anyone who's interested, so that they can go check them out. But anyway, getting back to this, so what I need to do with this, the next step, is one of the things I've noticed about this, in fact, why don't we put this here? I'll put it on top of the poly end tracker, and you guys can see it this way. It's probably going to be easier to look at. So there it is there. Right, so one of the things I have noticed is you can either power it from the DC jack there, or you can power it from the batteries, because this little connector here is actually connected to that inside the case, and that's where you chuck your 2 9-volt batteries, right? So all I've got to do, because Eurorack can be converted from 9-volt to 12-volt quite easily. It may not be easy to convert 18 volts to 12 volts. Do you see what I'm saying? So there are ways I can do this, and I've been speaking to various people, but that is 2 separate 9-volt channels going into here. And then all I have to do is just feed that 2 9-volt to 12-volt converters. And then I've got that converted into Eurorack land. So power-wise, I'm pretty sure I'm sweet now for this. So that's that problem solved. The the big problem is to get it working again. And I don't know how fried this thing is. It could be as, you know, could be as bad as your Sunday morning brekkie. But it does have a BBD chip on here. See if I can get you guys to have a look at it. Actually, I've got a camera here. Let's turn it on. You guys are interested in all this kind of nerdy stuff. A BBD chip. Give it a second and it should appear.
I don't know what a BBD chip is.
A bucket brigade delay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know what
now you know what it is, because they are probably one of the most musical chips that we use in the industry. And Yeah, there it is there. It's
It sounds great in the Erebus, the original 2. Well, they used it in the 3rd, didn't they? They've kept the chip, haven't they?
There it is there. It's the 3...
Or did they change it in...
It's the 3204. That's the BBD there. Okay. So it is slightly different to what they used in the original 1970 version of this flanger, but it pretty much behaves the same way anyway. So that's the BBD chip that's in there. I don't know if it's balked, if I've cooked it, but I did download the schematic for this exact chip, and one of the cool things I can do with it is I can check the voltages and what it's supposed to be doing on these pins. So all that sort of stuff is TBA for me. So I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an insight into the journey of Ranz fixing his guitar pedal and turning it into a Eurorack. Now, at the end of the day, if this all completely is a complete and utter failure and it's a kerfuddle and it just doesn't work for us, I can always use the real one here. This baby, the one that's actually plug it into the bass. Where's my bass thing gone? Hang on. This thing. Oh, listen to that nice bit of flanging. So I can always use that one because we know that one works, right? And at the end of the day, it's only money. Geez, they're expensive, those pedals. Have you guys, how much are they in the UK? The M117R, if you're wondering what part number it is, it's an MXR M117R. I'll show you the one that I've got. It's that one. Okay, the big one with the 4 knobs. Darren, nothing wrong with having 4 knobs, hey mate?
179 quid.
As long as you don't... Yeah.
179. That's actually not too bad. I mean, it's probably a pricier pedal, right? It's probably not your normal. What's your normal pedal? About 70, 80 quid. That's your normal sort of pedal. Yeah. So it's probably, your standard sort of Boss pedals. What would they cost? What's a Boss pedal cost?
Oh, more.
Like just a bit more. Depends on the pedal.
Yeah,
like
100 plus normally, I would have said.
100 quid? Okay. So
yeah, more.
Yeah, I think they're about 300 Australian, somewhere around there. Yeah. So, which I find for a flanger, that's pretty pricey. But bearing in mind, it is actually quite a big pedal. It's not a little thing. It's a big one, and it's analog, and I'm sure they're milking it and, and everything else.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Geez, I talk about that pedal so much. You guys are probably thinking, oh no, is he going on about that pedal again? Oh my God, just leave it. Leave it, Ranz. Are you going to marry the bloody pedal? Marry it. Just have a wedding. Put it in a bride's dress. Anyway, I do worry about me crapping on about stuff, and there's my proof. Yeah, so anyway, during the week, the modular stuff kind of got plugged in, as you guys can see, because people were asking me about that because I didn't finish plugging it in. And there it is there. Let's go and show everyone what it looked like when it's all plugged in, because that's what we didn't finish last week, right? So the SU is all plugged in and turned on and everything working. Okay, so what I was using before was the 960. Darren, you like that? I haven't used the little switcher thing next to it yet. That thing, the switcher. And I used the 2600 oscillator, the filter that's next to it. I've used the, oh yes, and I am using the Batumi as well. Gee, there was a really interesting video that came out about the Batumi, and one of the things that's really important to know about the Batumi, if you're wondering what the Batumi is, it's that LFO module there. There's 4 LFOs in it, and it actually has a really, really cool feature on it, which I can't fit in my case because there's not enough HP between the math module in it. And that is, it's got this little sort of extender thing called the potty, and it gives you some extra features, which you guys are kind of probably want to slap me because I haven't put it in there, but I do want to grab the potty. One of the things it can do is it can do trapezoids as an LFO, and that is friggin' cool. And I just thought to myself, ooh, are we going to start traveling down VCS3 land? You know, trapezoids. Yeah, that'd be cool. Brooksy probably wants to be in the corner instead of Eurorack, so I'll take Eurorack out and I'll put Brooksy in. He'll probably pretend that he doesn't want to be there, but he does. I know secretly he does. Hello, Brooksy.
Hello, is this working?
Randy.
Have I got the
It is
right
working.
mic going?
You've got the right mic. Good job.
Well, hey. Well, hey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks.
Oh, I found me wand. I found me Harry Potter wand. There it is. Ha ha! I found it.
Oh,
Can even make it short. There you go. Look, I can point to stuff again. Pay attention, class. There.
Yes, sir.
There it is. That stuff. Anyway, I thought it was somewhere around here. It was hiding. Anyway, so Brooksy, as you probably just worked out, everything's plugged in and going nicely. Thank you very much. And the phaser's turned up. And geez, that phaser is beautiful. It is. Yeah, it's calm. It's beautiful. It's pretty. It does little dances like a ballerina, but at the same time, there is Satan inside that phaser pedal as well.
good. So
There is a demon in there.
Get one then. All right, okay, get one. Because my new case is due to arrive sometime in the next few days. So it'll be smaller than the Go case. It's 6U104, so it'll be losing about a third of the space. So getting a smaller module for that would be welcome. So, well, we'll see.
Okay. All right, that's cool. Now, Kent's just sent something and I just wanted to catch it. He's going, I just got a SAD 5112 for £850. Makes me want to make converter boards for SMT versions. Got 10 of them for £850. Yeah, the thing that I was going to get was a Texas Instrument thing. And I can't even remember what it's called now. I've lost my. It might have been when I was talking modular stuff. Where is that gone? Yeah, I can't remember what it was now. There's a Texas Instrument thing that I was looking at getting, which is kind of It's like a chip that does a whole bunch of voltage stuff. And one of the cool things it can do is it can convert lower voltage to higher voltage and higher voltages to lower voltages and stuff like that. I can't remember what it's called now. Geez, my brain is not working because I'm not actually prepared to talk about it. That's what happens when I don't prepare myself. Anyway, I will probably talk more about the voltage stuff when I'm on that project, when I'm actually sort of playing with it more. Because I kind of think that's kind of a bit dry and a bit nerdy. You guys probably all you want to know is, can I get it to work by plugging it into a bus of Eurorack power? And that's about as far as you want to know. And the answer will probably be, I don't know at this stage. But yeah. Look, at the worst case scenario, all I've got to do is put the DC plug on it and just plug it into the wall wart still. So what's the big deal with that? It's not going to hurt anyone. It may introduce ground loop noise. That's the issue. So I prefer it if it was plugged into the bus. That's kind of my thoughts. I was chatting to Ben, who's DivKid, and he said, "Are you going to change the level on it so that it plays at Eurorack level, not line, because they're guitar line levels, right, in the pedals?" And I said, "Well, it probably doesn't need to because I've got currently this thing plugged into Eurorack now, and it sounds fine." But having a little bit more of a chat to people about it. The Eurorack lines are lower in terms of power, so it may actually be worth playing with just a little op amp or something just to just to get that sort of level at the right level when it goes into the actual pedal circuit, and then it comes out, converting it back to Eurorack level again. And the reason for that is that you're going to get more of the sonic ability of that pedal than if you were to just put a Eurorack sound through it instead of like a normal guitar sound going through it. That makes sense. It's just not going to sound quite as gritty. So that's something that he mentioned, and it's probably a good point. So anyway, yeah. What do you guys want to talk about today? We've got no topic other than the stuff that I've just mentioned. Anything? Ooh. It's free topic day.
Well, I'd like to.
Go, Darren. Darren, go first. There you go.
Well, I was just going to say, I just want to say a bit of a RAP to, I don't know if any of you guys, let's have a look at this. If you remember the good old, can we see that? Wait a minute, let me just brighten up a bit. Can you see?
RAP.
Hang on. RAP to a guy, you must know him. Can we see?
RIP.
Or is it focusing? Come on.
It's focusing on your face.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, it's back to the old thing. It's Stu Allen.
Stu Allen, yeah.
Face, yeah. The events we used to go to. Stu Allen. Sadly, no more on Thursday. So he's a guy who sort of. I would say if it wasn't, I wouldn't say if it wasn't for him, but if I never listened to him on the radio back in the early 80s, I probably may never have got into electronic music. So, yes, he's sadly passed away on Thursday. So,
so he was basically a radio personality in Manchester, was he?
He was a Manchester DJ. It was the first time I heard house music. He's done loads of club events around the country. I mean, he was still playing out probably a year ago as well. And it was sort of, I think he was diagnosed with cancer this year or late last year, and I'm afraid he's passed away. So I know Inky'll know it, and I think George Kempson knows him. So for all those people who used to go clubbing at Life, at Bowlers and Kinetic and all over the country, sad times. But yes, other than that, been an okay week, Rans.
Yeah, it's sad when decent people disappear on us. It's been a bit of a year of that, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about that.
I was going to put some of his 12-inch records up behind me, but I hadn't got time to find them out in time. But yeah, like I say, he was just someone who, like I say, since I listened to him, he brought house music. Well, he didn't bring house music, but to me, he brought house music over to the radio. Like I think 85 might have been a year earlier, 85-ish, which sort of set you off on that electronic music sort of, and look where we are now. So yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Where are you, Darren? What? Oh, I see.
Where am I?
In your, on the Starship Enterprise, surrounded by.
I'm asking me that self a lot all the time. Where am I?
Okay. What we might do is I'm going to see if I can organise Kent to jump on. So while we're doing that, Ian, I might jump to you because you were going to have something to say before Darren jumped in. So do you remember what that was? Yeah, you were going to say something. We said, what topic would you like to talk about?
Oh, topic.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking. What I was going to say was you've thrown us a curveball. So I haven't really thought of a particular topic.
Impact on musicians.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's your name?
Who are you?
I'm not sure about a topic. I mean, I've had an okay, apart from sending out emails saying prices are going up, but they're not telling us what's stock up, which is a bit naughty. You've almost got to guess whether something's going up or not, which they've never really done that before. But apart from that, and I fixed finally my 25-year-old lava lamp, which has been cloudy for the past 10 years. I've managed to work out how to sort of fix it. So, but that's not necessarily another topic, a topic of any depth, is it really?
I don't know. I've always wondered, how do you fix lava lamps? And I thought you just chuck them in the bin. So that's actually interesting. So do tell.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So the internet said you need to use distilled water or deionized water and some Epsom salts and a little bit of pure soap. And I did do that. And when I put the soap in, it sort of went all smoky and cloudy again. So I just put tap water in it, washed it out about 3 or 4 times, put the right amount of Epsom salts in, and didn't put the soap in, and it worked.
Ah.
I don't know how long it lasts, but I mean, it's been going for about 3 or 4 days now, and it's.
So what you're saying there is you just need to put some water in and some Epsom salts.
Yeah, to the right sort. It's a bit of a sort of chemical reaction because obviously put too much in, and you just get one great big blob of wax. So you have to sort of. It is a bit trial and error, you know, but. Yeah, but just water, just ordinary tap water. You know. So don't throw them out. Recycle.
Yes. Now I'm just, if you're wondering, I'm just typing in the background to Kent to get him on. So I've given him all the details. And if he needs any help, he can shout out to me on Facebook. So we should have Kent hopefully in a few seconds if everything goes well. Yeah, it's pretty much just done through your browser.
I need to I'll thank Andy. Thank you, Andy. Or should I say, Rave will thank you anyway.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No,
yes.
I know. I've not had a chance to listen to it yet. I have. What about?
I have.
10 o'clock. And I had things to do. Well,
yeah.
You know, I'll get there.
Yeah. Well, get your ass into gear, boy. No. Let's go into this because I think this is worth.
Sorry, kids, your books aren't marked because I was listening to Rave Dave's EP.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, it's a maxi single.
Do better.
Actually, not an EP.
Do better.
Sorry. Maxi single.
Yeah.
I used to like remember the flexi. No. Well, you know, but do you remember the flexi single?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The vinyl flexi single, and you just have to put a coin in it to give it some mass. Yeah.
I definitely.
It used to sort of come free with magazines.
Just slip. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
Proper wafer thin.
Yeah.
Now, let me just see if I've got the right thing. Darren, can you tell me if this is the right thing? This is the right thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, can we play a little bit of that? Well,
it's got naughty words in it. At least.
Yeah. I watched the video. The video. All right. The video was great. The video.
Oh,
yeah. Well, you'll have to check out Rave Dave's album, Violetly Purple.
I will do.
No, it's good.
I need Darren's permission though. Darren, are we okay to play a bit of that, or do you think that's going to?
You can play whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the first track's on YouTube, but there's 2 bonus tracks that you get if you download the full single. Will be parts 1 and 2, which are sort of mixed together, which has got a few little extra bits in it, and the YouTube edit. So number 2 and number 3 are sort of completely different.
All right, let's do that.
Number 3 is bass for like clubbing. You might like to try number 3 because I think a lot of people can't do it.
Right, you're going to have to go to Bandcamp and be part of Darren's. It's on Darren's Bandcamp page, but it is Rave Dave that really deserves all the kudos for that. And I'm going to give you guys a link to get to there.
Well, he came in last week and slammed the keys on the table and said he wanted to release the single because he'd been playing it out around his raves. So we had to quickly write the second tune for this week, and the third one's really,
Now let me just. I've got this on the wrong computer, so now I have to get it back up again.
I can.
Go. Oh, you can put the link in, can't you? Actually, no, I've got it now.
Mr. Spong.
I've got it now. We're gonna get Kent in the chat into this chatting side of things in a sec. Hang on, here we go. There's the link. It's in. Right now, let's get Kent's name up nicely. Shall we say something nice?
What lady, eh?
All right, big hello to Kent, who's joined us at a moment's notice, and let's see if he's got his mic and everything working.
Yeah.
Let's see. No! We've got video but no sound. It's the dog's fault. Yep, blame your dog. Just don't kick your dog. All right. You can mime or you can, Just check on that article that I sent you, the third link, the last link that I sent you, Kent. There should be some screenshots on how to get into the audio side of things, so you know how to get into that, and you can select your appropriate sound device. He's got his finger up. He's disconnected, which means he's frozen, and now... Yes!
Hey.
Brilliant!
Hey.
Let's go back to him.
Nelly. Well done, Nelly.
Live from London is Kent. Hello, Kent. Nice to have you, mate.
I'm honoured to be here.
We're honoured to have you. This is probably this is a first, isn't it, for you? You haven't been on Ranzee's show yet. Cool.
No.
Hey.
Now I know you're busy, and I know Saturdays can sometimes be, work days for you. So I do appreciate you giving some of your time. How's your week been anyway, mate?
Yeah. Okay. I've been working on a Profit 5 Rev 2. So I'm ready to kill anybody who upsets me. And I had a massive migraine, which wiped me out like Wednesday, Thursday, and most of Friday. So I didn't do my show on Thursday. There's a plug.
Check your show out.
So I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm super. I'm okay. Yeah. And also very, very intrigued as to why the hell you want an idiot like me on. What's going on?
Well, we only put respectful gentlemen on this show.
He's my number one customer this week.
See, the thing is, Andy Synth Addict is out drinking with his mates, going to gigs, going to concerts in LA, and he messages me at the last minute saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not coming on the show." So I'm like, "All right, we'll get Kent on.
Oh.
That's what we'll do. We'll do one better."
Photo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he sent me a photo this morning of Hans Zimmer's Walk of Fame star. I mean, okay, all right. We know where you are, what you're up to.
I don't know if he's if it was last night or tonight. Was supposed to have seen Ramstein. I think it's Ramstein, isn't it? How you say it? Ramstein. Ramstein. Yeah. Stein.
I says I.
I know, but people say it wrong. But people say it wrong.
Ramstein.
It definitely is.
It's German.
Always.
It definitely is.
Always. No, always. Ramstein. Thank you.
It definitely is. Yep.
Ramstein.
Okay, take your teacher's hat off now. Come on.
Yeah.
Can't.
Sorry, Mr. Brooks, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
I'm sitting up straight. I put my hand up. We did our synth education show 3 weeks ago. It's over, mate. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the good thing about this week, Kent, is there's no topic, so we can just do whatever we friggin' well like, which is actually cool.
It's like being down Kent's pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my kind of format. Yeah, I'll have some of that.
Yeah. Let's just see where it goes. And down in that sort of. Down in that corner down there somewhere is the chatties. So let's not forget about these awesome people. And they have been trottling on in. Yeah, there's a reasonable amount in there. I've noticed there's a few that have arrived since I've last said hello, like Mr. Wiggly's there and Lady Aptitude's there. It's nice to have you wonderful people. And also Mr. Dazza from Down Under, the Intergalactic Federation. That is such an amazing nickname. You guys should ask him what that means one day. You'll have a very decent conversation. So it's nice. And Popes is in there. He's moderating it all. That's the good thing, right? We need someone to moderate it all. And if he's not doing that, Brooksy will probably do the same.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, what are we looking at? Now we got through Darren, Ian, Brooksy. You haven't had a shot yet. How's your week been, mate?
Right. Well, funny. Last Sunday, what a great day I had last Sunday. Really, really enjoyed myself. It was a Hardware Jams North meetup in Leeds. There was me, a guy called Steve Rutherford, who actually lives in Wimbledon, but he trained up for the event, and a guy called Logie Bear SB, who's one of the founders of Hardware Jams. He'd come over from Manchester, and there was going to be more people there, but over the time, people sort of dropped out. It was just left with the three of us. So we booked into a sort of rehearsal studio in what's it called now? I forgot the name of the studio space. Wagyu, what's it called? You remembered? You found it on Google Maps for me. Phoenix Studio, something. And it was a lovely facility. So we just set up. Steve Rutherford had got his guitars and pedal boards and a Typhon, and Logie had got a Syntact and an Allen and Heath, really nice Allen and Heath DJ mixer, which was just great. It really converted me on the idea of using one of those. I thought, that was brilliant. And then an Allen and Heath bigger digital mixer, and we all just basically set up and jammed for the afternoon. We sort of knocked out sort of 6 tracks, different types, different styles, and they're up on YouTube now. I've got 2 on my channel, and there's some on Logie's and some on Steve's, but they'll all come out on Hardware Jams as well. So we did that, and that was really cool. It was a real fantastic experience, just meeting up with 2 people I'd never met before. Then when we chatted on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, but to go and just meet up and just go, right, what we're doing, let's go, and actually to get on really well. We had a good laugh. It was thank you Wagyu Pirate Studios, that's it, and really easy to get on with them. It was a very enjoyable afternoon. There is plans afoot for another one at some time, so that's something to look forward to.
I actually think it's impressive. We were actually talking about the journey of some of us over the last few years, right? And Brooksy, now that you're here, I think one of the things that I'm actually quite admirable about is that you have gone from someone who hasn't for a while gigged or played with people, you know what I mean? Like you actually completely, you did it earlier in your life and then you stopped and then you've come back to doing it again and you've flourished. Yeah. And I think it's a really, really admirable thing.
Yeah, well, when I first started coming on here, I mean, really that was just the start of me just getting back into it, really. I'd been pootling about a little bit and doing this here and there, and I'd done this sort of thing at school, but not really done very much at all. And I was sort of finding my way again. So coming on here, that's been I suppose I hate to use the word, but sort of a platform in some ways. I wasn't intending it to be that, but that's what's happened. You know, me coming on your show and you allowing me to come and smear my face all over it every weekend or so. There's opened other opportunities up. You know, meeting Lisa. I mean, because getting nagged interminably by Lisa and Popes about doing stuff and getting stuff, and then obviously getting back in touch with Grace and doing stuff with Grace, and particularly the EMOM stuff in the last sort of 12 months, it's just seems to have gone boom. I say the EMOM stuff's Ian's fault, but you know that's the EMOM and hardware jams to me sort of they overlap in my head as to what they're about, and that's been a real boon, you know, the opportunity to go out and play these gigs, even if it's only sort of 10-15 minutes set. Jim Glue said, you know, they're safe gigs. You know, you're playing to an audience who is there because they know they're going to enjoy it mostly, and that, you know, you're not just turning up at a pub and playing to a bunch of people who rather not be listening to you. You know, we've done that before, and that's not necessarily fun. So it's just been, you know, these things. Well, you know, you're in the middle of your nice sort of fairly laid back sort of minimal techno set, and some idiot comes up to you and says, "Can you play happy hardcore?" You know, that's happened to me more. That's happened to me more than once. You know, you know.
Do you know any Beatles songs?
Not had that one.
Can you play For Elise?
Yeah. Well, I could have. Yes, can you play For Elise? I could have just turned around and done that. But I mean, but, you know. Do you know any Barry Manilow? No, we haven't.
Or it's like when you go to an old punk bar and you're playing Eurorack there, and they just want to kill you.
No, I just go throbbing gristle. Don't
Yeah. Oh, that's good, man. That's really good. And so when we talk about this stuff, one of the things is that we'd hope that the people that are watching on YouTube get the same sort of vibe, and you know, that should encourage you guys who are out there to do the same thing. If you haven't gigged ever, you know, there's things that we've announced on the show in the UK that you could go do. There's things in Australia, there's things in the US, and there's things probably in your local country if you're from a different place. So do check them out. And there's like Brooksy said, there's safe places where you can you know, you can, if you feel your music is rubbish, it probably isn't. It's probably awesome. But we are the worst critics of ourselves as musicians, right? So go out there and just put yourself into that next step, and that's to put yourself in front of other people. And you just don't know where that's going to take you. You really don't.
Well, at the EMOM events, there's occasionally been somebody who's gone up and the music's just been, you know, well, okay. But then you've got to go, well, actually, this person's got up there and they're doing their thing and they're trying to do their thing. And you're not going to be, you know, one thing you never do is I don't turn around to the person standing next to me and go, God, this is rubbish, isn't it? I would never, ever do that.
Yeah, it's not.
You just, and you try to show appreciation for the fact that somebody else has had the balls to actually get up there and do it. Even if you yourself think it's not so good, you know, I mean, because I'm sure there'll be other people that will listen to it and go, oh, God, that was just tedious what that guy was doing. Rubbish, you know, about me or anybody else. But so there's always, when you've got a lot of variety, because there always is variety at these events, there's always going to be something that doesn't quite tick your box. So you can't like everything, but by and large, most people are up there because they want to share, they want to do it, and they enjoy the experience of playing live. And most people who are in the audience appreciate the fact that they are doing so.
And most people in the audience are probably people that are going to have a set a bit later on, or they've already had one, and you know that it's all kind of the community, isn't it? So
that happened at the last Derby EMOM. There were a couple of guys who played. Simon Greatbatch, who's sometimes in the chat here, another guy's name I've now forgotten, who'd been and watched and saw what was going on. And then decided that they too were going to take part, you know. And Simon did a great set, really, really enjoyable, and it's cool that that's happening. I know that Paul Balfour, who's been going to a lot of these as a basically an audience member, he's in Rotherham. He came down to play at the next Sheffield one. Good, that's it. It's growing. People are seeing it, and it does seem like that EMOM thing has started going again, and it's just gone whoosh, and it's fab. It's really great.
Yeah. I mean, for a long time, I was actually. I mean, I'm I play a lot of gigs, or I have done. I'm about to join a new band, but they were always there were never electronic bands in that sense, and I was always struggling to find an outlet for my electronic music. And it was a mate of mine who said, there's this EMOM thing going on in York next week. Do you want to go? And I went, yeah. And he never turned up. And I went on my own and just thought, I just thought, right, I'm going to do the next one of these. I'd found a sort of sympathetic home for electronic music, really.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's awesome. And as everyone should know too, that Ian also does his podcast, which is also an awesome thing because he features artists that you probably never heard of, and a lot of the stuff I listen to on your podcast, I just think, wow, where is this music coming from? It's actually really, really cool, and that's one of the things I like about how we are today. That we're not actually necessarily rammed music like we used to be, like, commercialized. No. That only those songs get to go on the radio or go on the television or whatever. Now we can actually choose where we listen to our music, and it's more a sort of personal thing. I think it's awesome.
I think I have to have Rave Dave on this month.
Oh, you have to. Yeah.
So I think I've got to put Rave. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The album of the month is going to be.
See what you think.
I will, and I'll play some tracks.
Now, actually, while we're talking about it,
with some of the tracks.
right,
right, okay.
Mr. Wiggly, you've got to get Rave Dave on your show, right? It's a must. You've got to get Rave Dave on. It will be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm sure Darren will be able to teach him not to swear too much, a bit like he managed with Oliver.
It's definitely worth getting him on the show. Now, Kent, because you've watched the show, obviously, so you know all the format that we do here. What do we normally do when we have our regular show? What's the first thing that we usually show as a regular segment? Do you remember? Put you on the spot.
Isn't it the funny side, isn't it?
It is, and it's so good that you said that.
Yeah.
Look at that for a segue. Ooh. Yes. When you are buying your fortune cookies.
Hey, that's one of the best ones in ages.
I don't know whether you take that back to the counter and say, I'm not too happy about my fortune cookies today. Anyway, what else have we got here? Still a man's wallet, and he will be poor for a week. Teach him music and how to buy instruments, and he'll be poor for his entire life. Confucius said. It's true, and it hurts. Anyway, what else we got? Now, this one's a little hard to see. So, Uncle Jay, do you know why hummingbirds hum? Well, it's bad filter capacitors. Uncle Jay doesn't understand jokes. That's not what the book says. I suppose it could also be a ground loop. See, I find that sort of stuff funny. And are you sure you want And the option is okay or trash it. This is getting horrible. All right, we're all going to suffer from depression after the show.
There's actually a funny story behind that. For that last one that you did. I've done exactly that. I'd written a tune, I'd spent ages on it, and I thought, I'll make some changes, but it's all right because it's saved, not knowing that it wasn't saved. Some changes, and I thought, oh God, that's dreadful. Do you want to save it? I'd already saved the original. I went, yeah, go on then, save it. It'd overwritten the actual track that I was trying to write. So it was absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've done that as well, I think. All right, I'll put Kent on the spot. Kent, what was your favourite meme of the week?
Oh, the first one.
The first one, Fortune Cookies.
The first one.
Yeah.
I liked the first one. Yeah, because it spoke to me. Mind you, the last one did as well, but yeah, the first one. The first one. Yeah.
All right. What are the chatties saying? What was your favourite meme of the week, chatties? Tell us in your chat. Lots of people asking. First and last, said Eddie. Incredible incremental saves. Yes. I save every change to a new version. Oh dear. Yep. Save. Save the planet. Save our music. Yeah. Definitely. Well, I think it's probably time for some news, people. What do you guys think? What's the best this will screw up again each week, like it does? And yes, it's screwed up again. I love it.
Oh.
You do it on purpose, Rant. We don't believe you. We think it's done deliberately.
Yeah, but
you should see what I have to click on.
Because if you change it won't be the show.
If I have to click on this stuff every week, it won't be the show. I might just get rid of the title. I really think we should just get rid of it. Anyway, who knows what these things are? The Roland SPD and then the SPD-SX. And now we've been told they've got a Roland SPD-SX PRO. That means that only the professionals can use this.
It's a nice tray. So you can put 6 cups on it and they won't slide about.
It's lit for you.
Yeah. So
pretty colours.
Let's not knock the drummers, people, because some drummers are actually budding synthesists as well. So I think we should give them respect.
And vice versa.
I certainly do. Anyway, let me talk about this a little bit because this is kind of more than just a little drum tool. And those who like to hold a stick in their hand and whack things, this actually may be right up your alley. Because
that was probably not the best. I'm not sitting on it.
I'm going to get.
Did you rehearse that?
I am going to get completely roasted. Look, what's cool about this is the old SPD-SX and the originals. They didn't have these little LED lights that you can see in between the grids here, and so it was actually difficult for them to know what pads were active and what was going on. So Roland have done that, so there's a bit more visual feedback on this, which I think is a good thing. They've got a bigger screen. Now this thing does a hell of a lot. It's got sequences in it. It's got sample playback and all that sort of stuff. And it's got click tracks, all sorts of cool things. So it basically takes everything that the SPD-SX had and takes it further. But we could probably get a video and watch, I think, instead of me crapping on. Now, where is it? Video there. Yeah, it's professional. This show is professional. Please.
I hope it goes
to the professionalism here.
Yeah.
Just hit all the buttons.
I'm Adam Marcello. I'm a professional drummer and musical director. As a Roland artist, I've used the sample pad extensively as part of major productions with Katy Perry and many others. In this video, I'm going to explore the SPD-SX PRO sample pad, unpack its features, and show you what it can do. The SPD-SX PRO is the flagship model in the Roland sample pad series. It builds upon the capability and features of the original SPD-SX and can do everything that the original can do plus more. If you're not yet familiar with the concept of the sample pad or with the original SPD-SX, check the link above and in the description to watch the SPD-SX overview video first.
All right, now I am going to pause it there because somewhere down here, there's some really, really cool things that they were showing with this thing that I thought, hey, wow, I didn't know it did this. So, for example, there's actually a neat little drum kit that he set up. Is it here? Is it, where is it? This could be it. This is it. So, let's see what this guy does.
Single pad. Quick access to a wide variety of current powerful sounds is essential for any.
What I'll do is I'll look for this and try and find it in the video. I forgot to actually tell myself what time of the video it was on. He's got this thing set up with just a real basic sort of kick and is it here or is it a bit further along?
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think it's a bit further on, Rans.
Yeah, it actually really interested me. Like it was a real basic sort of setup, and he had this thing sounding really, really good. Anyway, it might be right towards the end. I don't know. Anyway, I'll look for it, and or maybe you guys can find it in the video. Maybe that might be easier. Anyway, so what's cool about this thing is it's for drummers, right? Now, drummers can kind of control more stuff. So if you think about people like Phil Collins, right? He was the head man of a band called Genesis, and he was a drummer. And so it might have been difficult for him to do while he was, playing the drums, and you're sort of stuck behind the drum kit. One of these things would actually be really handy because you could trigger setting off a sequencer. You might have the Eurorack sort of set up on the side, and you just hit one of those pads and off the Eurorack could go. You can actually send control voltage on this thing as well. So I just kind of thought this, when you guys look at these products, you probably, sometimes it's good to sort of think outside the square. And I don't know, have you guys ever seen or played with an SPD-SX before? Ian, what about yourself?
No, I haven't. I've got cajones and all sorts of bits. I'm not a drummer by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd love to have something like this. It's a bit pricey for me, to be fair, but and I don't think I'd get the full use out of it. So maybe a cheaper version or something like that. But I love stuff like this. Yeah,
they're about £900, I think. I think that's kind of around the price.
Yeah, I couldn't really justify just having it sat around. And to be fair, it would be sat around, and then I'd probably use it on the odd project, really.
Yeah.
But no, I do like it.
Yeah. Does anyone here dabble with the drumsticks? I'm kind of more of a tapper. Like I'm more of a percussionist myself.
I've always fancied it. I did play on an original. I think it was an Octopad Mark II.
Oh yeah.
So not the original one. It was a Mark II. A guy I knew came round here with one to do some drumming on an old track, and I had to play with that. And the thing that struck me then was actually how bloody hard it was. I mean, literally hard when you hit it. It was. They hadn't quite got the stage where it was as bouncy as like a drum head, because. But I think these are a lot better these days, aren't they? They're a lot more sort of wrist friendly, if you whatever. But I've always fancied it. I've always wanted to have some sort of like percussion pads, and never ever got round to it. Again, I think often because the price has always seemed a bit prohibitive for something like, as Ian said, you might just use now and again. I think it'd also be great to use in a live setup as a visual thing, because sometimes, playing keyboards, it just looks more interesting when you're waving your arm and hitting things, doesn't it? Yeah, I think so anyway. So I quite fancy something like this for that purpose. But as Ian said, perhaps one that's slightly less than half the price, and I might be interested.
Yeah.
Well, the SPD-SX is probably cheaper. This is the Pro, so you could probably still get yourself. Someone could probably look it up, actually. The SPD-SX, I think they're still selling them. It's going to have lesser features. It's not going to have the LED lights. It's not going to have the sample memory. It's not going to have the bigger screen. There's a whole bunch of things that it's not going to have, but it may get you the basics. I thought the connectivity on this thing was pretty good.
Yeah.
It had
so 600 quid.
600 for the SPD-SX.
Yeah. 629.
Yeah. And I think that you could probably even go used and the original one that they had, which is not the SX, I think it's just called the SPD, or maybe, I'm not sure, SPD-S or something. But that's been around for a while. So this is kind of like the third iteration of that little family. Kent, have you ever played with one of these?
I got my Alesis one
Yeah.
With the 4 pads that I hit occasionally, mostly out of frustration more than musicality. But yes, like I said on the show yesterday, I took delivery yesterday of the Hyperdrum, which is the virtual. So you have the drumsticks, and it's a virtual drum kit. Do you know it at all?
I've seen them.
I haven't seen it myself. No.
Well, basically, what do you have? You have like you put a sensor on the cuff of your trousers or your sock or your trainer or whatever, and then you move your foot. That's your bass drum, and then you just play these virtual drums with the sticks.
Nice.
And of course, it can trigger other drum software, and although it has some built-in kits into the sticks, don't know how they get them in there, but and you can play these things, or you can just play the coffee table or whatever. And we've been trying it out, both me and Fiona, so because she's into her Simmons, because she's weird like that.
Oh, right.
So I'm getting her this little $35 Simmons plug-in, and that'll be it. She'll leave me alone then. And so yeah, it's that, and I mean they're £95, I think they are $95 for this virtual drum kit. So, sorry, Roland.
Yeah, damn sight cheaper than the Roland thing. Yeah. Don't forget though, the Roland thing it's built for someone to to hit a pad, and it might have a sample that it plays, and that might be in. Yeah. There's some smarts in it, so the click track works with the sampler, and the sequencing is all in time. So there's some cleverness with this thing. It's not just a pad that will play a sample, because anyone can do that. So yeah, like making sounds off of pads is, anyone can do that. I can do it on MPC right here, right? So it's not that. Anyway, we should move on to the next thing.
It's not that easy. I can't even clap in time, never alone hit something as well.
It's a different world, hitting things with sticks. Different world.
I mean, a lot of respect for drummers, because to do 4 things at once with 4 different limbs, is just it's completely beyond me. I'm okay with 2 hands, but to do feet as well, forget it. I've tried it. I can't keep time with the drum kit.
There are
play it.
Let's be real here. Right. There are a lot of drummers. There are a lot of drummers who love synthesizers, and they watch this show, and they're regulars. And so I think we've shown the SPD-SX PRO. A few weeks ago, I was playing around with that thing over my shoulder there, the hand sonic percussion tappy thing, because that's a technical word, percussion tappy thing. Roland, if you're thinking about a name for a new product, give me a call. Anyway, we should move on to the next thing. Percussion tappy things are good.
That could be part of the area. Yeah.
It could, The Artisan Electronic Instruments Iliad. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting synth. I think, anyway. I don't really care what you think. It's interesting because it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid synth with plenty of knobs. Exactly, Darren. See, Darren's onto it straight away. Now, when you buy this thing, you can actually buy it as a 4-voice synth, or you can get it as a 8-voice or even 16-voice synth. So there's options to upgrade. I don't know if there's options to upgrade it after you've bought it, or I kind of got a feeling that might be the case, but someone could probably tell me if I'm right or wrong there. But obviously, when you buy it, you've got options for the different sizes of voices to save yourself a little bit of money if that's what you're looking for. But what I thought was interesting is how there's a bit of analog meets digital with the oscillators, which is kind of like what Korg have done with some of their synths. And I think this is a cool thing because you've got real analog oscillators, plus you've got wavetable stuff, which is digital, and Kepler strong synthesis and stuff like that. And then you've got things like pulse width modulation, which everyone would want. I just find it an interesting synth, and there's all sorts of things in there. Other than that, obviously they've got an 8-pole multi-mode dual peak filter that runs in 2-pole low pass, band pass, high pass, as well as 4-pole versions of each. So there's a pretty decent, interesting filter in that. And with the 8-pole design, you get variable modulatable bandwidth and dual peak resonance. And that's something that you don't see regularly in synths. So that's an interesting filter. Anyway, whether it's digital or analog, I think it's digital, the filter, from what I can work out, which is why this thing's a hybrid synth. And that's probably why they can achieve some of those funkiness with it, I think. Anyway, flexible configuration is kind of what you've got there. There was, this was announced at NobCom, and our friends over at Sonic State were nice of them to do some videoing for us. I'll just quickly sort of, scan over some.
Oh, I don't like the screen.
It's a little screen. There's his face. Thanks for showing your face. There's another face. And there's some more knobs.
10 times zoom on my glasses.
It is an interesting looking synth. Now, people that know synths, I think Kent is probably someone that would probably know more about synths than anyone. What do you think? Did you see anything about this, Kent? Sort of not knowing if you was going to be on my show today.
Yeah, I actually did a bit more research on this one last night. We were talking about it on PSN. And this is probably the only way you could manufacture a polysynth today, especially if it's hand built. The thing about it is, it seems to be that the guy who designed it was a massive fan of Mark 1 Odysseys, because the case basically looks like a Mark 1 Odyssey. It's quite bizarre. Yeah, it's got a kind of a synth-XE kind of PPGE kind of vibe to the whole thing. I've yet to hear one, but the price is going to be a bit of a problem, I think, for them long term.
Yeah,
it's a very crowded market.
$3,400 for the 4-voice.
Yeah, and I mean a 16, or was it an 8? Is going to be about as much as a Moog 1.
Yeah, $400 per voice on top of that. So if you're looking at hang on, times 4. 3,400. You're looking at $5,000 US for the 8-voice, and then another 1,600 on. Another 3,200 on top. 8,200 for the 16-voice, which seems a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's this hand-built thing that's it's either going to make them. Well, the synth will have to be incredibly interesting. If it's going to do pretty much like, oh yeah, well that synth does it, that, and that synth does that. Yeah, it might be a bit of a dud from that point of view with that price point. But like I said, yet to hear one.
Yeah, 20 units a year. It's not a big manufacturer.
No, and that's the problem, isn't it? We can't hear it yet. So the jury's out until we actually have a listen to it. I mean, it is very boutique, isn't it? Yeah,
that's what I mean. That filter, like, I want to hear it. Like, that's on paper. That 2 resonance, lanes in a filter sounds insane, right? Like, how is that going to work? I want to hear what that sounds like. Because for me, my brain is thinking, okay, how do filters work? That means that you're going to have when you're cutting frequencies, they're going to be bouncing off different frequencies in the resonance part of it, right? So that means you're going to have these kind of trippy harmonic sort of bouncy sounds on a dual resonant filter, and that's going to sound interesting. But I want to know what it sounds like, just like you guys. Yeah. So Ian, in terms of polyphonic, multiple voice synths, what do you think about the whole analog world to digital, and how's your sort of thoughts on this? Do you have any sort of allegiance to any of that, or are you more sort of the person that cares what it sounds like at the back of it?
I don't care whether it's digital or analog. Apart from the cargo, as I've said before, everything in here is either hybrid or digital. And to be fair, and for a long time, I mean, I stupidly in the 90s got rid of analog synths like an idiot. I'm the guy that sold a Poly 6, for peanuts.
Queue up.
So Sorry, queue up. Yeah, I know. I wasn't alone.
Yeah, we all did it. We all did it, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, then the guy offered it me back, and I don't want that thing. Oh, what a fool I was. So no, I really don't care whether it's analog or digital.
So you really smell,
it's
your regrets. It's called.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I still like the Sledge because I know it's all digital, but it's one knob per function, and that's the original reason I bought it. The layout is easy to use, and I still like. I don't use it very often, but I'm probably never going to sell it. The box is a pile of rubbish. It's a pile of plastic crap, really. But the actual synth inside it, I really like. Hydra Synth is wonderful, but I need to spend more time with it, really. So no, I don't care whether it's analog or digital.
This thing's got a very interesting user interface. Like Kent said, it does have a bit of an ARP sort of workflow to it, which I love. I love the ARP workflow. I'm a big fan of it. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the Moog workflow, but I just really dig the ARP workflow because to me there's a lot of logic in it. I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on one. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me play. Let me see what it can do.
The price worries me, I have to say. I mean, I know it's going to be hand built, and you're going to pay for that. But the price. I mean, for me personally, there's a lot of synths out there at $3,000.
Yeah, especially at this time.
I'd probably rather have
that synth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That synth there next to that flashy, dancy light thing is a Peak, and that, in my opinion, is one of the best modern synths that has come out as a polyphonic hybrid type synth. It's a Chris masterpiece. That thing, it's an Ovation masterpiece. The reason why I like it is because it's hard as digital. It's FPGA land, and it's complete binary numbers. But then they emerge through the world of analog filters and VCAs, and there comes your warmth. There comes your the non-digital world sort of meets the digital world in a very nice marriage. And I still can't not do a track with that synth. It's like it has to appear. That's where that sits for me. And this thing could be like that. This thing could be another Peak to me in terms of what it's saying on paper. There's some really, really interesting things. So it's just like Kent said, it's only $20 a year. It's really, really pricey. Will that ever come here? I don't think so, but someone will get one. Hopefully someone in our community will get one and we can have a listen to it. I think that's going to be good. Anyone else want to make a comment on the Iliad? Don't know if I like the name. Greek mythology.
It's another reference, isn't it? I mean, Odyssey, Iliad. The two go together.
Yeah, I got
the colours scheme,
yesterday.
the black and the orange. You got told off for it.
Yeah, I was saying about it's the second book in the Odyssey. It's a poem to Homer and all that. And go, oh no, it wasn't. Oh, well, all right, I won't say it anymore.
Yeah, don't talk about Homer because they'll think you're talking about The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah. Well, was that me?
It might have been you, actually. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be you.
It was probably Brooksy.
Hairs again. Oh my god! Oh.
Yeah, it was Brooksy.
He's telling me off again, Dad.
Pedantic is my middle name, isn't it? It's honestly. Oh, yeah. I think the Iliad comes first, and then the Odyssey. Right. Because the Iliad, it's Ilium, it's the Trojan War, and then they bugger off after the Trojan War and get lost, don't they? That's what happens. And they sail around all these islands for 30 years, and it turns.
Yeah.
But none of them knew how to oscillate.
Whoa, sorry, I just had a moment there. I was a trance out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then, isn't it? and then they drop the ring into the fire at the end.
The ring mod into the fire. Let's get this back onto synth.
Yeah, the ring mod into the fire.
Yeah. I was just tapping away then. I looked up and I thought we're having some sort of
some Greek mythologies lessons.
Discussion on something I'd missed.
Well, hopefully it has I don't know, Hercules budget on this thing anyway. Right, so What can we do?
It's pointless trying to turn this into a highbrow discussion, isn't it? It really is. I should have known this years and years ago, so I won't even bother. It's pointless.
See, for me, I think Arp were quite smart to name synths by numbers instead of stupid like Greek mythology names, like the 2620. That's a better name for a synth. Let's just name it a bunch of numbers. Yeah, cool.
Well, sorry, what number's the Odyssey then? Sorry, just that.
It doesn't have a number. No, there's no number.
No,
it's
just
odd.
1, Mark 2, Mark 3.
It's just odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Let's move on. Iliad by Artisan Electronic Instruments. Fantastic. Check it out. Next, Eurorack land. Magerit LANIAKEA.
I'll stop you right there. It's got a lovely flashy light thing. So
it's got a big knob too, Darren. It has a really big knob.
Yeah.
And it's got lights around it. Yeah.
And a rocket.
What more can you want?
Yeah, rocket up your
rocket.
Like that.
Yeah.
Just put it in the box.
Yeah. Why did I turn that off? That's what I wanted to turn off. That. This is interesting.
Now, what does it do, though?
What does it do? Well, this is a cosmic wavetable oscillator. A cosmic... And you can see there's definitely some cosmic references in you can see with the rocket ship in the middle and cluster and space and all these references to, outer space. The whole point about this thing is they're a Spanish company who have entered in the highly competitive Eurorack market with quite a unique way of talking about oscillators. It's a 6-channel multi-algorithm drum voice with a built-in Euclidean sequencer. And yeah, they talk about it being, cosmic, which is their description of how this would be. But really, at the end of the day, it's basically to do with shaping and colouring the sounds in it. That's pretty much it. But there is a video. Let me just tee this up for us. Now, I can't remember if this video is going to work or not, because last time I tried this video, it got taken offline. Oh yeah, is it here? Here we go. It is an interesting video. I will warn you guys. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Play. Yep.
That's the knob of normal.
There you go, nice little sort of marketing video. I think that was quite well done.
Ranzee, have you got mixed up with something else talking about drums and an internal Euclidean sequencer? Because there was no mention of that in that particular video.
I did. I was supposed to have mentioned their first thing was Metro. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Yeah, that's my bad. I do have another photo of this thing, but I don't know if I should show you guys. Is it in here? Let me show you guys. There's a better view of it. Hang on a sec. It is an oscillator, by the way, just to sort of give you guys a better understanding of it. The video doesn't really show much about it, but that was part of its sound in the video. They did say that they used the sounds in that to make it. What can I tell you more about it? The resonator. It's kind of more for sort of tubes, bells, and string sounds. It can generate clusters of up to 8 waves using the big knob. There can be chords. Let's go back to here. What else can I tell you about it? The thing is,
how much is it?
They're 220 euros.
It's the point, Aaron.
220 euros.
Well,
So that knob is actually a macro. and apparently you can customize it through some sort of dev engine that they might open up to us. So I'm not really sure what that is, but I kind of, if you want to kind of get an idea of where it comes from, I kind of feel like it's got a bit of a mutable instrument plates feel to it. So if that's if that helps, I don't know. Look, it's probably more for Darren because of the big knob and the shiny lights.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if I can.
And it's not mega expensive, so
220 euros. Yeah, that is excluding VAT, by the way.
For a module, it's pretty. For a module, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
These days.
I'll admit I didn't actually have a lot of chance
to. Big wall of flashy lights. God knows how I use it. I haven't got a clue.
I just want to know.
So, don't worry, Ian. You don't have to know how to use modular.
So one of the problems
you just plug stuff in, it works. Yeah, that sounds like my sort of modular.
See, Ken hit the nail on the head before. One of the problems with making synths today is making polyphonic synths, right? That's one of the problems with making synths. And one of the biggest problems with Eurorack is that it literally lends itself just to monophonic sounds everywhere it goes. It's just really difficult to make polyphonic stuff in Eurorack. And if they do make polyphonic stuff in Eurorack, it's usually a chord generator or it's some sort of super saw or something. Do you know what I mean? So, a lot of the modules that you get these days are they're mono synths modules, and this thing is no different. I think what would be nice is if people were going to make digital oscillators. This is a digital oscillator. Why don't you make it so that we can run more than one voice through it? This generates multiple voices. That'd be nice. 4 voices would be a start. 8 voices would be better.
And you need 4 VCAs.
Doesn't matter.
4 envelope generators.
Give us the start, and then we can work out the rest. There's ways to do it. Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? I must be one of the few sort of like piano-based people that actually is getting less and less bothered by polysynths. In fact, in recent years, there's really only been 2 that have made me go, "Oh yeah, I really want one of these," and I've never got them. I mean, the one is the Hydrasynth. Cliche, I know, but the Hydrasynth, and the other one is the OBX8. That just from first play I went, "Oh, this is something else." I played lots of others, and they go, "Oh, these are very nice," but none said, "You have to have this," and that's something. I do like. I've got no problem with things being monophonic. You play poly here, poly there, poly this, poly that. Most of the time, it comes out with sort of piano-ish sounds or pad sounds or string sounds, because you don't want great, big, huge, massive ring modulated sounds in polyphony. It just sounds you can't do it. Anyway, am I just pouring cold water over everything again? Sorry.
Maybe. I mean, I can introduce you to a synth that's got a beautiful ring modulator, and it was probably one of the best polyphonic synths ever made, and that's the CS80. So, what's wrong with the ring mod being polyphonic? Yeah.
Point made. I'm sure. You've proven me wrong. I accept it with 1 point of a finger, Kent. That's all it needed.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, having the option. Hello, having the option is kind of is what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily mean that we don't want mono sounds, right? Mono module voices. It means that I would like more options. So if you go to something like Modular Grid and you search for polyphonic voicing, it's actually very slim pickings. That's what I'm saying. So module developers, there's heaps of you out there. There's thousands of module developers out there. Start making more polyphonic stuff. I think it's interesting. One of the things that I find interesting about it is that as a Eurorack or modular synth sound designer, to actually create a polyphonic synth, like you said, you have to have multiple VCAs, multiple filters, multiple envelope generators. It actually becomes quite difficult. And then when you think about it, like some of these synths that we buy, like we talked about the Peak before, right? And everything's in there. It does so many things. Like for me to do things like portamento and then have portamento across each voice, I have to have malts, I have to have slew generators. It's all like it's a nightmare. It's a very, very big nightmare. It's fun, but it's a nightmare. So just sort of putting it out there.
So the question is, why bother when you've got a lovely Peak, you've got a lovely System 8, you've got a lovely whatever else, which would be an awful lot less faffing about, and you could just play that nicely alongside your modular doing its modular thing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I am a bit of a hypocrite because I have thought, and it's on the shopping list, the Polycinematic module just to stick in the rack with the MIDI cable into it and have that to play so it's in the rack.
Yeah.
That I do see the point of that, but the idea of having 4 sets of a System 100 all to I couldn't be asked. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have. I know you have, but
it sounds beautiful. That is why it sounds beautiful. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like the answer why is a personal journey. That's the answer why. For me, it's a personal journey, and I've thought about some mutable instrument modules would be awesome, like the rings. Like imagine polyphonic rings. It can do it, but it doesn't do it properly. Like you can't separate the voicing. So for me, that's kind of the next stage. Anyway,
look what Mr. Wiggly typed.
Space Master Knob, my new rap name.
Do you mean to tell me that in Eurorack there's nothing that's the equivalent of the old Digisound Alpha DAC?
I beg your pardon?
Well, basically what it was, you used to have, it was a kit-based mono modular. And then they made this module called the Alpha DAC. And basically what it allowed you to do is if you bought 8 oscillators and you plugged each one into the Alpha DAC, each one became assigned to a key. So it would be 8-note polyphonic. But it also had signal routing as well as CV and gates. So you could start mixing modular signals together.
Dopefer I was going to say, Dopefer probably got something.
Yeah. Dopefer would be your go-to for that.
At least 4-note polyphonic, perhaps even 8. They've got some quite complex things. And there is something that sounds.
Yeah, I've got a 4-note Dopefer one. Yeah.
If you want 8 voices, you have to double it. That's basic. That's the basic thing.
Yeah.
But here's the other dilemma, right? So what if I want to have 2 oscillators per voice? And so in the Dopefer thing, you can only with my thing here with the Behringer System 100, there's only 1 oscillator per voice, 1 filter per voice, 1 VCA. So if you wanted to have like the Moog thing, how many oscillators per voice in a Moog 1? It's insane, right? And you think about how many voices it's got; it's insane. And the engineering in that, it's mind-boggling what goes into that sort of stuff. So if you were to try and so it's three oscillators per voice, and then there's like 8 voices.
Like the memory Moog, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to try and do that in Eurorack, it would be monstrous. It would be a mammoth job. It would be monstrous, and you could do it. It's just going to cost you. You might as well just buy a Moog 1. It's going to be cheaper. So there's going to be points to that sort of journey that you'll just go, it's just stupidity. There's a point where it just becomes stupidity. So I think 4 voice is the sweet spot in Eurorack. I think like that cinematic does 8 voices. I think those sort of things become more sort of chord based stuff, which is kind of a bit like the Waldorf Rocket, right? It's similar how that can play a chord. And it's, unison and all that. So it's multiple voices, 8 voices, so as well. So it's kind of similar. But I kind of feel like generating voices, I think 4 is the sweet spot. And it's kind of like if you look at a Roland Jupiter 4, if I was to try and recreate a Jupiter 4 in Eurorack, I could. It would be expensive. It would probably be cheaper for me to find a Jupiter 4 used and buy that. I could do it. But do I want to do it? Probably not. So it's a question about.
Though, isn't it? It's 1 oscillator per voice, the Jupiter 4.
I'm pretty close.
Is there a sub oscillator per voice as well, Ken?
Jupiter 4?
Yeah, but I think it's
divide down, isn't it?
I think it's divide. Yeah, I believe it is divide down off the original signal. Yeah. But I mean, this, in a polyphonic synth, a lot of polyphonic synths, you'll have voice cards. So if you had a module that was a VCO, a filter, and 2 envelope generators, and a VCA, you buy 8 of them, and you got a polysynth. But then you can start adding more color with other type of the myriad of Eurorack modules that are around there. Putting it all into
that's similar to what Ranzee. Isn't that similar to what you've actually done though, Ranzee? You've got 4 of the Behringer 110 modules, which is oscillator, filter, amplifier, and then 2 of the 140 envelope generator modules, which gives you 4 envelope generators and 2 LFOs. Is that how you've done it?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Just let me get my little remote control, which is not in. Why is it when I want the remote control? It's not
which is actually a pretty cost-effective way of doing it, really, if we're being honest.
There you go.
That's actually a
So
you've used, of course, you've got the quad envelopes. Yeah. That.
So the only downside of it is the fact that there's actually only 4 envelopes. So I technically am envelope generating for the filter and the VCA with the same envelope for each voice, but there are 4 separate envelopes for each of these voice modules. Okay, so technically what I should have is another one of those. So I should have 8 envelopes. 2 of those modules will give me 8 envelopes, and then I can do away with like the data doesn't need to be there, for example, and then it would be true polyphonic per voice. But the problem with it is, and by the way, you can get a module that will divide down these voices too, because these have separate oscillator outputs on them. And it's something that I've been looking at, which is be interesting, because then you could have things like sub-oscillators in there. But this thing's it's not in tune at the moment.
Clock divider.
It's not in tune at the moment, but it's a beautiful sound. Oh, by the way, that's going through a Juno chorus, an analog Juno chorus at the moment, which is probably why it sounds a bit sort of richer than just 4 individual voices. But yeah, that's my little polyphonic journey, and it was probably, I would say it's probably more a failure than a success, because every single one of those Behringer modules don't behave the same. So I would literally, the next job would be I would need to go in and calibrate every single one of those calibration points on the back of that module to make sure that they're all behaving the same. That's going to be a nightmare. You can do it though, and Behringer have not got back to me yet about how to do it because they haven't got information on it. So I'm seeking the Roland way of doing it, which is through their old technical manuals. The other thing that's a nightmare about it is that the Nifty Keys keyboard itself, the way that it triggers the voice is not exactly how I would probably do it. So there are some settings in there that you can manipulate, but if you look at polyphonic synths, how it triggers each voice depends on how you press keys and lift your hands off the keyboard. So it's to do with, like, if I was to press a key, lift my hand off and press another key, it's still going to trigger that first voice every single time. But I may not want that. I might want it to round robin. In that way, that first voice, if it's triggered and it's a tail on the release or something like that, it will still tail it. And because there's no talking to these, it's all CV, so there's no talking to the envelope generator, there's no talking to the voicing. Do you know what I mean? So there's no way of knowing. It's literally just going to do what it wants to do. So these are some of the things that frustrate me about going down this route. And I don't know if I can fix that, but there is ways to fix it. There are CV modules that you can do that will do round robin manipulation and things like that.
Somebody wants to do the Oberheim 8-voice programmer.
I was going to say
Eurorack.
I was going to say. Are you going to say Oberheim as Kent? The 4-voice and the 8-voice and how that assigned?
I would love that. I would love that. Seriously.
Cool. And introduce auto-tune if possible as well. That would be nice if there was a way of doing that.
Auto-tune, please. Please.
When Dave Spears brought round his 8 voice, he needed me to work on it so he could model it for the OBE. And even when you're setting up an 8 voice to just play a chord, you know, you have to lay aside 45 minutes while you get the Oberheim right before you can actually play a note, even when it's perfectly okay.
Wow.
So if auto-tune is introduced, you know, digital technology should allow you to do that with Eurorack, surely, by now. Then, boom, it's sorted. At least takes the hard work out. It will not take the price out, though.
Yeah. So tuning is an issue with anything analog voicing, as you know. And so what I've got is, and someone in the chat just mentioned it, this is the Caltrans module down the end here. So that, if you look at the way this is wired, this is one thing I like about this. You can actually physically see how the voicing works just by following cables. So all of these up here are your gates and your voice and your volts per octave, right? They all go into, the gates go into the envelope generator, and the voice volts per octave go into the tuner. The tuner then, you know, calibrated, if it's once calibrated, it's not calibrated at the moment because I haven't done it today, then they go out to each voice, right, into the voice volts per octave of each voice. And then that should, when I set that up and calibrate it properly, it does tend to play nicely. It doesn't play nicely when you start changing octaves and, you know, you're getting all those standard sort of CV issues that you have with anything like that. That's the thing that's problematic with these sort of things. So, but
can you go back to showing your system? Because there's something I'd like to mention. If you look at the system 100 modules, if you look at the 110 module, right? You've got the two big. Sorry about this. The two big knobs to the left.
Yeah.
The lower one is your fine tuning knob. Okay.
Yep.
And it's right next to that cutoff slider, and it's so easy to nudge it, and it's got such a range that you nudge it a little bit and it will be out, and it's a bloody nuisance. so
you're talking about that
nice
is next to that.
Yeah, if that tuning knob, that fine tuning knob, had been one of the smaller pots, it would actually have been a much more usable, or a much better design, because you wouldn't have nudged it quite so much. Now I know that it's probably true to the way the original 100M looked, but yeah, the number of times you know in it that I've just nudged it, yeah, or you're moving your cable, because if that cable touches the knob and then you suddenly move the cable, it's moved the knob.
Yep. Welcome to my pain. You have met my pain.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And it's very very sensitive. That it's like
just at the same place. Yeah.
It's not really a fine tune.
Andy, did you notice that those knobs are Pro 1?
Very similar.
You notice they were Pro 1?
Very similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're exactly the same size.
They are very, very similar.
Shall I go and pull my knobs off?
Yeah, go play with your knobs.
Yeah, go and pull one off.
So the other problem, we're completely going off on a massive tangent here, but the other problem with this I haven't got to
They're a lot smaller, Ken.
Is with the filter, right? With the filter on this, so there's 4 separate filters, okay? If I want to do, for example, a filter sweep, what I have to do, and at the moment I've got it disconnected, is I have to use these buffered malts here, right? And then I have to set up something like maybe the mod wheel. I could set the mod wheel up, so there's the mod wheel there. I could attach it to the buffered malts, and then they would go into each of the CV controls like this here, which is a spare one there, for each of the filters, so that I could control each filter of each voice at the same time with a filter sweep, for example, which is what polyphonic synths can do. And that sort of stuff, even that sort of stuff is challenging because of the calibration issues I've got with each of the modules. Because I don't know if you can notice it, but it's a little bit hard to notice. But if you look at every single one of those cut-off and resonant positions, you will notice that they're slightly different. And there's a reason for that. And that's because not every single cutoff goes from 0 to hero the same on these modules, because they're not calibrated the same.
in the dual modules where you've got the 2 oscillators, the 2 filters, they're not calibrated the same within themselves. You know, I've noticed that in here where I'm setting up, trying to set the same voice on the, you know. So I was talking about that left and right thing when I wanted the same sort of sound on it.
Yeah,
it was almost impossible. They're in different places.
Yeah,
to get the same sort of sound. And I'm thinking that's really odd. And then the only conclusion you can come to is that the calibration inside is not the same for each of the 2 oscillators.
There's probably not even a calibration for it.
there might not be. No, I actually haven't checked.
No,
yeah.
it'll just be like
you might well be right.
Yeah,
because it'll be cheaper. So there's no way of calibrating the match.
But I've spoken to people that have got System 100s and System 100Ms, System 700s, you know, that sort of stuff. And apparently, in the day when Roland brought these out, they actually used to have to get a Roland tech. So, say for example, you bought a System 100 and it was just a mono voice, and then you decided, okay, I want to bring some more voices in. They had to get a Roland tech to calibrate some of the modules because they had exactly the same problem as what I've got. So it's probably the electronic design that is in a sense failing here. The engineering side that's failing here. It's fixable, but it's not easily fixable. It's like you might have to go back and use a trimmer pot or something like that to get it right, and then you'll have to sit there with an oscilloscope or a voltage meter or something to you know, to some sort of engineering.
Oh no, you can do it by ear. You can do it by ear. You set the resonance to a certain frequency,
right?
And to work on the keyboard, you do it across all 4 filters, and what you do is you adjust the trimmer until it all plays the same note.
Yeah,
calibrated. Done.
And that's something that I'm probably going to have to do if I want to keep going down this rabbit hole of craziness. Yeah, or I could just buy a Jupiter 4.
Nothing to tell us off about it, Ian. Nothing to tell us off about it, Ian. It's absolutely sensible. you take the knob off and you just use the knob shaft and leave that and use that. And there's plenty of, you can do it. Then
I know what you meant.
There's less to knob. So,
there you go. Fixed. Happy? Now it's knobless.
Yeah.
Look, watch this.
Oh,
it's a naked
Ranzee.
knob.
Ranzee.
Don't touch my tuning.
Now it looks the right size.
See, half God, half beast. Look what you've done now.
All right, what else have we got? We talked about this thing.
Set the stream down. Yeah, that sent us off on a right good discussion.
Yeah, it did. The Muton REON.
Yeah.
Muton REON. That's not the Muton REON, the picture. That's the QV-L.
No.
What the hell's going on here? Hang on, let me see if I can get the right picture up. Please show me the right photo. Is that the right photo? No. There it is. That's the right photo.
That's it.
Okay. So, what is this thing about? Semi-modular, which means you can rip this thing out of its nice little wooden enclosure and put it in your Eurorack. It's a Japanese boutique developer called REON. They released the Muton. It's a semi-modular, as I said, analog synth powered by a unique FAM modulation engine. I don't know what that means yet. What was I going to tell you about this thing? There's something about this that I read somewhere. The FAM, here we go. The FAM engine. This is where it gets unusual. FAM stands for Flexible Advanced Multiplier. And what it is, it's used as a sound source controller. It hosts 3 independent original gate generators and 3 LFO generators. And that section is about bringing movement into your sounds, which is probably why it's called Flexible Advanced Multiplier. So the whole point of that is to generate advanced rhythmic modulations from different modulations and their multipliers. The gate generator has internal, external sync options and can be played at any speed and any length, either at regular or intervals or randomly. So you could sync, I guess what they're saying. The same applies to the LFO. It can be synchronized and also can be played at its own allows you to freely edit levels of waveforms, plus you can use the sample and hold gate signal, so it can, be used between, 6 different sources, is kind of what they're saying there. The patch bay is kind of interesting. I wish there was a better photo. I actually wanted to see more about what this patch bay is about, because, if it's going into Eurorack. Now, what did I say about the patch bay? 18-point patch bay. Unlike classic semi-modular synths, the Muton ignores pure audio side of the patch bay, oscillator out, filter out, but focuses exclusively on CV, gate and clock signals. There are connectivities for audio at the back, so you get individual outputs on the back for each VCO plus MIDI and USB. And there's also an Ethernet port that allows for some sort of fusion series to communicate with each other. I don't know what that means. Someone might be able to tell me what that means. Anyway, this thing's about $683 US, converting it from the Japanese yen. But the interesting thing here is that sort of FAM modulation thing. The oscillators and everything itself kind of seems to be fairly standard with 3 VCOs, which can sync. So it's kind of Moog-ish in that sense. There is also a filter, which we don't know what it is, but because they don't tell us, that can switch with oscillator signals to go into it. That's interesting. I don't really understand how that works, but anyway. Is there a video? Is there a video, says me.
While you're trying to find a video, I know a little bit about the company.
Yeah.
They used to do something called a drift box, or a series of small synths called drift box, which originally were they had a relationship with Roland, but then they had a relationship back in 2018, 2019 with Korg.
Yeah.
And I think it was at Synthfest 19.
And they were at Synthfest.
And and the deal was that what they were going to do, because we signed up for it, they were going to put the drift boxes into dealers. Dealers didn't have to buy any stock. Korg were just going to basically loan them the synths, and then when people came in to order one, we would order one. We signed up for it. We did all the paperwork, and it never happened. Because we loved it. I mean, I thought they were really quite a nice little boutique thing. We weren't going to have to spend loads of money putting them into stock. We thought we would sell them because it's a niche market, but they worked. They sounded great. Did the little drift boxes, And I suspect they're a small company, REON. I think there might have more staff now, but there was only 4 of them originally. I think when the Korg thing was happening. And I suspect some of that technology's gone into this, really.
My question is, did they just say that they're not going to put oscillator outputs on that matrix on the right-hand side? So if you pull this thing out of its case and you've got the oscillator outputs sitting at the back of this thing, how the hell are you going to listen to this if it's sitting inside your Eurorack? You literally won't be able to connect it up. I don't know if that's right, but that just seems like...
There must be an audio output.
There must be. That would seem like stupidity. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Please turn your effects off.
I don't think they do, actually.
That crackle was coming from the video. That's like audio rate modulation there.
Yeah.
Some syncing there. Is it going to patch this thing or what? All right, I don't think he's going to patch it because I just sort of kind of looked through the video. I did kind of watch it briefly before, and I kind of thought to myself, I got a little bit angry with it because he kept putting it through his effects. I just wanted to hear it. But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly. Yeah,
we'll give him a shout out. Darren, you've been pretty quiet tonight. What's your thoughts on the Muton by REON?
I was just going to say thanks to Wagyu. He's give you some chuffs. Oh, I'm sure it was some chuffs.
Oh, thanks, Wagyu. Thanks for the chuffs. Wrecked. I like it. So the back to the Muton. Hearing myself in the background.
Yes. Well, I don't know, but you can't. Like you say, why can't they turn the effects off so we can actually hear it, and until we get a better look at it? And like you say, I'm not sure what's on the patch bay exactly. Be nice to see him using that. It looks bigger than I thought it was actually. Cause I thought it was about the Dreadbox size, but it looks a lot bigger than that.
I think there was some measurements on their website. Let me just, while you're talking, Darren, let me just get those up. I think there were some measurements here. Oh, it's in Japanese. Hang on a sec.
Well, you can work that out in Japanese.
Yeah, Google Translate.
Send it to, no, not me, it's Wagyu for the Japanese. Wagyu, can you translate it, mate?
No, it's all right. Google's it. Here we go.
Like, what's the size?
265 by 185 by 75 millimeters.
What, inches? Millimeters? Oh, millimeters. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what the Dreadbox. Yeah, but it does look bigger than Dreadbox anyway. It looks, like I say, not really had much of it.
Yeah. I was going to convert Eurorack to HP, but I can't do it right now. I've lost the website. But someone can convert 265 millimeters.
There must be an audio on that thing if you're going to put it in the Eurorack, though. There's got to be.
Yeah, I couldn't see. Okay, so...
Unless they're not expecting anyone to put it in the Eurorack. They just say...
Okay, so...
I don't think they are.
I'm just on their website.
I don't think they are.
They've got gate 1, 2, and 3 output, LFO 1, 2, and 3 output, gate 1, 2, and 3 input, LFO 1, 2, and 3 input, attack, release, feedback, delay time, clock, and clock. They're the only connections on that modular side, which means that there is no VCO out on the front. That would be a complete...
So you're not putting... So it won't be for the Eurorack then?
You won't be putting that in the Eurorack. That would just be a complete numpty. There is a photo here. Let me see if I can get this photo for you guys. Just to prove it. I'm not usually sharp with these things. People in the chat usually are pretty sharp with these things. But I don't like things being left off of certain instruments. And there you go. There's your patch bow. So there it is. There's no voicing out on that. Okay. And...
So, yeah, it's basically a desktop semi-modular then.
Yep. And on the flip side, this is what you get at the back of it. There. There's your voicing at the back. So, yeah. It would just seem pointless putting that in your Eurorack.
USB and everything, and like I say, you won't be able to put that in your Eurorack anyway, would you?
No.
You won't get the USB and all that. But...
Yeah. But it doesn't mean it's not a bad synth. It's probably just sitting in desktop land, I think. So...
Quarter-inch drill, let's sort that.
Oh, absolutely. Just mod it. Yeah, there's plenty of room, actually, across the top there, where the logo is, just to the right of the logo, you've got plenty of room for some 3.5mm jacks there. You literally just rewire them to that. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, sure.
Muton by REON. Is that all we had? Let me just double check. I don't think we had that other thing, didn't we? We had...
There's the Zoom.
The Zoom coming
Zoom
up.
thing.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the Zoom, but I think before we go into the Zoom, let me just get this other thing. It was this thing here. And it was... Let's just get rid of the title.
QV-L.
The QV-L by 512 is the name of the company that does this. The QV-L is a quad variable LFO. And the reason why I was talking about the Batumi before, that was the segue to this. So quad meaning there's 4 different, so this is all basic digital stuff in this, but you've got 4 LFO outputs on this. Probably Ornaments and Crime could probably do something similar as well. I just thought I'd mention that if you're kind of looking at this sort of stuff. 512, if you don't know who these guys are, they're developers of the numerology sequencer. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's a vector-based sequencer. It's pretty interesting, actually. I've actually checked it out before. Anyway, the quad QV-L is consists of 4 customizable LFOs in Eurorack format 12 HP. LFOs are split into so 2 OLED displays with 2 LFOs on each side, 1 and 2, A and B. Each LFO can be adjusted in detail. There are 6 adjustable high-resolution potentiometers to access certain things based on what you can see on the screen. And really, when it comes to LFOs, there's not a lot of massive talk to talk about it, but you can actually save up to 64 presets on here. And you'll notice on the screens there, you can actually see your wave shapes with the LFOs too. So you can actually draw them with the potentiometers. So you can create some interesting LFO wave shapes, and it can be quite useful, this module, in that sense. So it does give me a bit of thought to Ornaments and Crime though, but that is a bit more of a an LFO task. So let's do LFOs, let's draw some wave shapes with the potentiometers and have some funky modulation happening in your modular. Now, if anyone's wondering how much that is, it's $379 US dollars. I thought Batumi was cheaper. Batumi is yeah, less. And I don't know, you could probably draw a trapezoid if you wanted to get into trapezoids. But yeah, anyway. That was just a quick one. We probably should just go straight to the Zoom thing, I think, because I think that's more interesting. The Zoom thing is there, and we get rid of that. This is the new R12. It's a multi-track recorder. It's only got limited connectivity, but it actually has the same software running in it that the R20 has. The R20 was the bigger one with more connectivity. Now, what you're seeing with all the sliders and faders and stuff, they help you manipulate things with the multi-tracking of this. But in terms of how you record into this, I think there's only 2 XLR inputs on the back. So you'll be kind of multi-tracking in stages with this sort of thing. And if you looked at the video, they kind of showed you that as well. Now, I can't remember if I did have a video lined up for this, but let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I probably don't. No, that's that one. Yeah, so this is I don't know how this is going to work. This is a Vimeo video. Does it work? It's not working. I've never played a Vimeo video on this software before. No, I can't get it to work. I think it usually likes YouTube. So I'll link the video in the blog article. You guys can check it out later. It's just that guy, Luzito, playing different instruments and multi-tracking and recording with the Zoom thing. You guys have seen the R20 before? I think we showed it on the show last year.
I've got an R16.
Yeah.
Which I only bought it. I didn't buy it that long ago. I bought it really to record when I'm doing EMOMs as much as anything. I'm slightly disappointed the fact it's only got 2 XLRs. The price I think is going to be about $250, isn't it? If you've not, I have to say, for years,
I don't think they've given us a price yet.
I've loved. What I worked out what the rest of them are. So the R20 is these are sort of street prices. 325. The R8 is 195.
Yeah.
The 16 is about 266, and the R12 will probably come somewhere in between, round about maybe 250, something like that. Guess, really. I go back. The first multitrack I had with Zoom was an MRS8, which had the built-in drum machine and a bass thing, and I used it for quite a while, making demos and stuff, and then giving it to other members of bands and stuff, programming the drum tracks, and I really quite liked it. I have to say, the R16, I am not interested in using the drums on that, but they are there if I ever needed to. It just seems a little limiting to some extent with only, even if you only had four XLRs, would be so much more for your money. When you can buy an R16 which has got eight XLRs,
I think
and actually 16 tracks. Yeah, 4 would have been much better, really.
Yeah.
Their stuff is great. I mean, I think somewhere I've had this forever. This thing, and it's absolutely still working. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, and stick it in a bag, take it where I've done so many field recordings with it that have ended up on tracks.
Yep.
So the Zoom stuff is really, really good.
Yeah.
Not so keen on the UK distributor, but that's a different conversation. But we have history. But I know I love the Zoom stuff. I'd just like to see a bit more out of it for roughly what we think its price is going to be.
Yeah, one good thing about it though, it's got USB-C connectivity, and a lot of people hate the USB Mini, Micro, all those other types of. So USB-C, a lot of people seem to be quite happy with that. And so that means that you can connect this thing up to your iPad, iPhone, those sort of devices, and it should be class compliant to some degree. I don't know if it's going to be full, like the full system. I don't know what sort of legacy drivers that Zoom want you to install on your computer to make it, to give it its full features. But I think it'll definitely register itself as a audio interface, and that's probably all you'll need if you're out in the field to get the stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then you can use the actual software on the actual unit itself, which is all preloaded and ready to go. I think that side of it is actually kind of useful because if you're just sort of pulling some samples in, you can just, like I said, you just do it in stages, and then you've got those 8 tracks on the unit itself that you can then manipulate. Some guys were saying that you can use this as a looper as well, so you can actually have it playing as well as you recording at the same time. So I'm not sure how you said you had the R16. Can you do that on the R16?
No,
can you record and play at the same time, or is it linear?
Yes, you can. You can record and play at the same time. I can play. I mean, I've done that at an EMOM. I played a stereo track, and then recorded the other 6 tracks. You can actually record more. Obviously, I could have recorded all 8 tracks and then had the 2 or 4 tracks playing.
Yeah.
So in theory, you can have up to 8 tracks playing, and the limitation is your SD card, really, in terms of what it's. And then you can record 8 tracks live in from different instruments.
Yeah.
So I mean, and for me, that's what. Go on.
So I can say, Chris has got a question which sort of links into that a bit. He says, does it have USB MIDI song pointers for syncing up stuff?
Oh, you need to check.
Well, the 16 or the new one?
Well, I'm assuming he means the new one.
The new one has the same software as the 16.
If you're playing it back as a like a backing track or something, can you then use the MIDI clock to sync to your other stuff in your system, which would be, again, sort of slightly useful. Very useful.
It would be, yeah. I don't know about the 16 because, like I say, I've only had it a couple of months now. That didn't matter to me to be able to do that. So I haven't researched that.
Yeah, I've managed to get...
we don't know.
That's okay. I've managed to get the video to work because I've actually found a YouTube version of it. So let's see. It kind of gives you an idea of what he's up to.
Mi nombre es Luisito Quintero y hoy día vamos a estar grabando con la Zoom R12. Hoy invité a varios músicos talentosos, flautistas, guitarristas y bajistas para hacer música en esta R12. Solo tienes que poner tu instrumento, tu micrófono y listo para grabar.
Pretty small touchscreen.
Yeah, I don't know how usable that touchscreen is.
Puedes crear efectos con reverb, delay, lo que tú quieras en esta grabadora.
You can see how he's
Porque
multitracking
tienes
now.
todas las herramientas que necesitas para grabar y hacer tu música.
I don't think it shows in that video, but you guys get the idea. And the other thing too is if you've got two inputs, you can actually use it as two mono tracks. So it does record two tracks at once, which, you know, in some cases you might want to have a vocal and you might want to have instrument, and then you can pan them in your track. So it's not like completely useless, the two inputs. Depends on how you feel. If it's a stereo synth, then that's, you know, you're going to use up your two tracks straight away. Yeah. Anyone want to make a comment about that? Don't know the price, by the way. They haven't announced the price. I think that's it too, by the way, for news. Nope. Move on.
Definitely.
Thanks, Zoom. All right.
Deadly silence.
Why don't we do that?
The only other...
Let's get rid of Zoom. Bye, Zoom. Zoom zoomed off. We're going to scam. It's time for scamming. No, there's no scams, actually. Well, I don't know. Has anyone got a Klon Centaur? That's some serious money. That is some serious money.
I saw this on JHS pedals, the actual thing.
Oh, I saw it because there's a clone, isn't there? But there's a clone version which is really quite cheap.
Why don't we bring this up in front of us? Sorry, Brooksy. It's not meant to be covering you.
Fine.
Yeah. Who's actually got one of these? And why are these things seeking such exuberant sort of money? That's what I want to know. I don't always get my answers answered, but my question's answered, so I should say. But
I did see a video, like I was saying, somebody, it might have been the JHS guy who did a comparison between this it was, and it looks almost identical, doesn't it? I mean,
if you're wondering how much that is, by the way, it's £27,000.
Yeah, I mean, I
think some
it's
people
a scam,
weren't
isn't it? Yeah, but even when it's not 27,000 quid, they're stupidly expensive.
Yeah.
Bloody hell! Did I restore it or something?
All right, what about this? What about these? These are getting stupid. This is Australian dollars, so halve it for pounds.
For God's sake.
This is getting stupid. Yeah. It's just a low-pass filter, for God's sake. Like, seriously, how much electronics is in that thing? It's a bit of wood and a bit of metal.
Very
little. Of switches.
Very little.
Yep. A few diodes.
35 quid's worth.
Yeah. There's a few diodes in there. Yeah.
But it's got wood.
Yeah, and it's got the Moog. Oh, this one doesn't even have Bob's signature on it. The one I've got's got Bob's signature on it. So, yeah. Dare you try and sell that? Hey, yeah. Anyway.
He was writing all over everything.
What about this, people? If you're wondering about stupidity, here we are. This is the definition of stupidity. Let's get Luke's... Let's get Luke's guitar. Say that 10 times
Luke
really fast.
comes with it, obviously.
Who is Luke?
He's
I'm missing something here.
Luke is fictitious.
Buy now at half price before we increase to 2 million. Holy crap.
Brilliant.
The thing that gets me, right, is if you've spent £1 million, do you think they could maybe ship it for free? Do you think they could just, maybe they've got enough money to just give you free shipping? But no, there's still another £200 worth of shipping.
It's coming from Southend-on-Sea in Essex. Oh, I'm sorry.
It costs 15 quid to ship with...
At least it's tracked your item anyway.
Now, hello to all the guitarists watching, and I know that you want to. I know you want to buy it. There we go. You talked about SEMs before, Kent. There's your SEM.
Oh, for God's sake!
There's your SEM. Hey, I knew you'd like this.
And SEM. Oh my God! I've got about 12 of these in the garage. I'm going to dig them out. 15 grand to go.
At least he's got the sticker going. The yellow and black and white stickers going well.
Yeah.
That part of it's good.
It's very good, isn't it?
The patching's not bad. I don't mind the patching. Yeah. The X. What do they call those keyboards? The X. I forget what they're called now. The Bluetooth things.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
Yeah. The Bluetoothy things.
Yeah, what are they called?
X something or other.
I forget what they're
keyboards.
Called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
CME.
37.
CME make them.
CME. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
How big and how heavy
it's
is
like
it?
Playing a cash point machine.
Well,
yeah.
The shipping costs quite expensive, and the £1 million guitar is only 200 quid.
I like Reverb's website. Predicted to sell soon.
What? €1,000 shipping? I mean, what? What are you shipping it in?
Yeah.
You're going to scam properly.
Yeah. I'd say there was a few scams this week. What do you guys think? There was a few scams this week. Whether you buy a £1 million guitar from Luke Fictitious.
Delicious is
Fictitious.
whatever his name is.
Oh, we could come up with some very vernacular names after that. That's for sure. Yes.
But if I said, Eddie Van Halen's, Ovation guitar, or
I've got an Ovation guitar. I might sell mine. Ranzee's Ovation, £1 million. I'm going to do one better. I'm not going to charge for shipping if I sell my Ovation for £1 million. There you go. Mine is actually a vinyl back too. So there, meh. Mine's better. Yeah. Vinyl back sound better. Oh God. What are the chatties saying? They're probably throwing their synths at the screen. I haven't said that for a while.
No, they're too expensive.
If you buy
too much money, they won't throw
it.
If Luke can write his number one hits, he might be worth it. Good on you, Luke. We love you, Luke. Luke, don't sell your guitar, mate, because we know you need it. There's another tune coming out.
Still nobody's come up with an answer to who he actually is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Famous band he was in.
Well, who Luke is?
I don't know. Yeah,
he's not that famous, Andy.
Has anyone Googled him?
Oh, what's his name?
I'll Google him. How's that? Luke
can't be bothered.
Is it really fictitious? Is it?
Luke Fictitious.
Yeah, it does come up. He's an artist. I don't know anything more about
an artist who sold his guitar.
So how much is that quadrovocoder worth now with it just sitting in my workshop? At this rate, this is ridiculous.
More than you'd like to know. Let's have a look at Luke.
Oh, gosh.
There's Luke. Let's go. Let's click on Luke here. There you go.
Yeah.
Luke, there he is with his guitar. There you go. Look at that.
Oh,
it's on eBay.
Oh, look, it's the same picture.
Oh, let's get the eBay listing up. Oh, look at that. There it is there. It's a live listing. Shall I click buy now? That would be just suicide. Good on you, Luke.
Why? He's doing his best to look like Julian
Jeez,
Cope.
he could have cleaned his guitar.
He is, yeah.
He could have bloody cleaned it. What a grub. Sorry, Luke. You don't play synths, so we don't like you.
He's probably a very talented guy. He still knows how to use numbers.
Lots. Ones with like 7 digits after it. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly creative.
When he said that, he hasn't sold it yet.
That's true.
No.
It's on Reverb as well, I believe.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
The username from eBay is Try Again.
All right, guys. I know you guys have been waiting for this because we didn't have one last week, so I'm going to do this. Yep, we had someone bring in one this week. Now, if you're new here, this is Name That Synth. What I want you to do is I want you to grab yourself a beverage, sit down, relax, get your ears all, get a cotton bud or something, get them all clean, get them all ready, because you're about to enter the realm of Name That Synth. And what do we have to do? We have to guess what the synth is that's playing. You'll get some visual cues, but they might be tricking you. It's actually the sound that you've got to check out. So, who's ready? Is everyone ready? Guys, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
We are braced.
Yeah.
And ready.
Let's just see. Let's look how excited they look, everyone. All right. I'm going to mute everyone, and we're going to play this. Here we go. All right, here we go. Give you a little bit longer. It's not this sound, by the way. This is just my countdown sound.
You're actually 20 seconds. You're actually 10 seconds out.
Probably.
Yeah, just like that for stream.
All right. There we go.
What this is.
Time is up. Now everyone wants to know what it is. That's exactly right, because that's what's so good about this segment. Okay, after it said time is up, no one can enter anymore. You can enter if you want, but you're going to get ignored. All right, let's look at how everyone's so excited here. This show is like the most riveting show ever. Okay, the answer. Shall we give everyone the answer? Let's see if everyone got it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yes, oh,
Korg DD1. Korg DD1. Now, let's see who got that. Let's see who got that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Somebody got it.
Ooh.
Querdenk. Denk helaas.
I got it half right.
QRDNK got it.
Yeah.
Well done, QRDNK.
Gut gemacht.
By the way, a massive thank you to Chris, who did that, Makeshifter, who's in the chat. That's his video. He does some really good ones, doesn't he? So, just so you know, he even says made by Makeshifter for Ranzee show up the top there. Look at that. Isn't that nice of him? What a good lad. Good on you. Good on you, bud. That was awesome. I actually really enjoyed that. And I thought to myself, that doesn't sound like a Roland drum machine. And I was kind of heading down the same path as everyone else, thinking it was Yamaha. Because you notice that most people were thinking it was Yamaha, right? But I never ever thought to myself, hey, what about Korg? DD1.
I forgot how terrible they were.
QRDNK.
This is why I was half right. This is why I was
got
half
yourself.
right, because I thought I've definitely thrown one of these in the skip before.
Yeah.
And I was right. They fly well, by the way.
Actually, is Robbie still there? Robbie in chat, Fel Muser, let us know if they've been in contact with you about the prizes, because it's been a bit slow. But plug-in guru.
Yep, still there.
Yeah, let us know if he's been in contact with you. because I actually haven't heard. Oh, he has. Good. Good. All right, so...
Well, that could be a yup that is still in the chat. It doesn't.
No, it's a nope. Okay.
A yup and a no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like it's the standard thing. All right, so just bear in mind, people, that there may be some wait. But QRDNK, send me your information, as in your name and your email address, and I will forward that on to these guys who are plugin guru. It does take a few weeks for them to, I'm sure, to get that to you eventually. Let us know if anyone else is still waiting for their prize too, because I actually thought we got up to date on this. Anyway, if you're wondering what the prize is, it is Unify. It is a fantastic piece of software if you're into DAWs and you want to sort of manage your VSTs and patches and, guys, what does this do? This does a whole heap of stuff, right? And I'm actually waiting on Skippy to send me a video, because I actually want to play a video. He's got a great channel, and we probably should get him on the show. Like I said, he has said he wants to go on the show, but do remember it would be kind of like 5 or 6 in the morning for him if he was to come on the show. I don't know how I would be going on the show at 5 or 6 in the morning. I'd be like, hi guys. Anyway, always good to have Name That Synth. Now we definitely have another one next week, guaranteed, because I've got one locked in. I'm not going to tell you who's given me that one. But if you think that you can do better than Makeshifter, and that is a pretty tall order, let me tell you, send your videos in to me. Now make sure you don't publish them anywhere, and make sure that it's secret, so you can put them up on YouTube, but unlist them as an unlisted video and only send me the link. And make sure it has around about a minute worth of your synths demoing, and then have a little sort of gap where you wait, and then you can reveal it at the end. It's a fair bit of work, I have to say. We've talked about this before, haven't we, guys? So it's a minute and a half video, maybe 2 minutes max, and it probably takes about 2 or 3 hours to put those things together. So I do appreciate it, and everyone who watches this show appreciates anyone who puts these together. Most of us here have done one before. Brooksy, how's yours going?
Exactly. It was just a pain in the bum, actually. So I gave up an equal struggle. So what I'm going to have to do is you have to wait until Grace is back, and I can go around with the little pictures, the little snippets of video, the audio file, and actually just go, Grace,
Grace has done one already. Don't even go there. She did an awesome one. It was awesome. Right?
Don't be mean to me. Honestly,
it is fun though. Like Mez says in chat, even though he never guesses it right, I reckon I would have trouble. Like seriously, it's easy for me because I sit here pressing the buttons. But
I'll try again. I'll give it another try.
What were you saying, Ian?
I've got at least 2 weeks.
So rubbish. I'm just so rubbish at guessing. I'm terrible at guessing. Even things I should know.
It's like when Starsky does those comparison videos of what synth is the real synth, and he might have the original and he might have the the remake or something, and no one can guess it. I reckon they're great, those videos, and everyone gets it wrong. Everyone, even some of the the best people get it wrong.
Yeah, I blame the YouTube algorithm. He's messing with the audio.
The compression. The 100. What is it? 320 something kilobits, whatever it is. Yeah. But it can be, if you're going to have a synth, it can have anything coming out the back of that synth. So if that synth has effects, if it's polyphonic, if it's whatever, anything that comes out the rear end of that synth in terms of its main output, you can put in your video. You don't have to strip it back to its raw oscillators and be nerdy like that. You can show its whatever it's known for. Maybe like I do the opposite. I show things that are kind of obscure about things and really try and get people guessing. And most of the time,
identify it from this crosshead screw.
You're not supposed to look at the visuals, you idiot. But yeah. I reckon Kent would do a good one. What do you reckon, Kent? He's got some pretty decent synths in there. I reckon he could confuse the penis.
You know what? I have thought about it. And I'm going, oh, what could I use? What could I use? And go, oh no, there's only one of them in the world. Nobody's going to get that. And go,
yep.
No, that one's too obvious.
Could be winning every week.
It's one or the other. Yeah, it'd be one or the other. Really, it'd be like no, never, and yeah, they'll get that straight away. So.
Or that multi-tracking's allowed, as long as you're, So if you're doing like a mono synth, like I think I did what did I do? SEO2. Multi-tracking's allowed, just to sort of help you, as long as you're not cheating, like Yeah, I like my macro lens. My macro lens is right here, next to me at the moment. I'm having fun with it. I don't usually have it here. It's usually sitting over there in the other desk, but this is over here. It sits over there because that's where I solder. If I do any soldering, that's what this lens is for. But at the moment, it's just sitting over here because I'm kind of trying to find what's wrong with this in a bad way. And do you like my bodge wiring job? Isn't that awesome? Focus, you bastard. There you go. I burnt the track off of the
big screen.
I burnt the track off of it, so that's why there's a bodge there.
Oh, Rant's man! Oh man!
I put 9 volts into the 18 volt input because I forgot that these stupid Dunlop things want 18 volts, right? I mean, what guitar pedal? They're all 9 volts. What the hell are you doing, Dunlop?
Use 2 batteries.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think, right? This is how problems occur when you don't think.
It was a proper
1 9 is 9, 2 9s are... Sorry.
Yeah.
Back to school, are we?
Brooksy, if I could slap you right now, I would.
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, you're just storing them up when actually we do meet up in person, whenever that might be. If I decide to come to Perth on holiday, or you decide to come back to the UK on holiday, and we meet up in York, and Ian meets us up with, then no doubt you'll probably beat me black and blue.
I'll be stood between you while you're trying to beat each other up.
No, don't hit me.
What is that American TV series, How I Met Your Mother? And there was that guy who, over many, many episodes, he was going to slap the other guy, and he eventually did it. And it was like the power of, some sun collapsing in terms of how big this slap was. Yeah, anyway, that's what it reminded me of. Anyway, so what do we want to do now, guys? We've kind of got through all the stuff.
Can I just ask a question? Do any of you guys use Ozone?
Yeah, I do.
Are you going to upgrade to Ozone 10?
Ooh. I'll go first, and then the other guys can answer. I kind of upgrade Ozone every maybe 3 versions or so, because I don't like to just keep throwing money at these software companies all the time, because I kind of feel that I had Ozone 7. Thanks, Nick, for making me buy that. And with these ads all the time. No, it's good. It was good. And then I think the next one I upgraded to was 9. And I kind of didn't feel it was a massive, huge improvement, if that makes sense. There were definitely things in there that people can use, but I don't use them. So nothing against it. Anyone else want to answer that question?
I mean, the reason for asking it was... So are you on 9, Darren?
Go Darren first, yeah.
No, I'm on... Believe it or not, I'm on 7. But I'm not upgrading because I need to get at some point a new Mac. So there's no point in me upgrading it onto the Intel. I'll wait till go to Apple Silicon before I even think about upgrading it. So yeah, I'm still looking at mine 7. Now. But then again,
where is mine? It's Isotope, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it is. I mean, I've been using it since Ozone 5, I think. Was the first time I used it. Then I upgraded to 6. Then I left a couple and upgraded to 9. And I looked at it, and I went in and it's $150, I think, to get advanced. And I just thought, I see, for what they're offering, and I love it. I use it all the time. I just it didn't feel to me that it was worth the upgrade. You're right. You can't keep throwing $100 or £100 as it pretty much is now.
Every year.
At these companies, every time it is every year. Yeah.
I'll just put it on this channel here.
Yeah, it's like most things. It becomes a yearly event now. Whether it needs upgrade or not, they just from the operating system right down.
I mean,
I have a feeling though that when I upgraded to 9, they said that I get a free upgrade to 10. I have a feeling. I need to check my emails because this was before they got sent over across to that new company that owned them, which is Native Instruments, right?
That was then. This is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 9 anyway.
I need to check that. I remember something like that when I upgraded to 9. I know I bought other things as well. I bought the Elements series of RX, which I haven't used RX very much, but I've actually got a job to. Do
you get the top one?
No.
I've got standard.
I've got advanced 9, but RX I've only got the Elements things, which is obviously some of the tools, but not all of them. I have used RX 7. I think I've still got it, a hooky version of that somewhere.
I've got RX 6. It's
on a different computer. Yeah.
RX is awesome.
What do all these different bits of software do?
There's RX monitor.
RX7,
well, RX is obviously to clean out. I mean, I did this interview with this guy last week, and he had the builders in, and literally there was nail guns going off in the background, and really bad audio. So I am gonna use RX to try and clean up the audio on that, and that's what you use it for. You use it for if there's a hum in the background or all that sort of stuff. Ozone is a mastering suite, which I have to say is brilliant. Although I do run the assistant, but I end up never using it. So I'll run the track with, and I always prefer to use it in standalone mode. Actually, that's one thing about the new version. There's no standalone for Ozone 10, which sort of shocked me a bit, really.
Okay.
Because I always do, if I'm doing an album or an EP project, I will do it all on standalone. I've always preferred to do it that way.
This is the assistant. If people are wondering what he's talking about, this is the assistant. So you basically say, what are you looking for? I'm looking for modern or vintage. I want high or whatever. Reference. I want to load a reference track if I want to. I think the reference track thing's pretty neat, actually. So
I've used that before. Yeah.
If you have some sort of music that you think, okay, I really like the way that sounds, you load that in, and destination streaming or CD, and it will, you just keep doing that. I think it's pretty handy. It's a pretty. The only thing that I don't like about it though is because we've talked about mastering and mixing before on the show many times. And I think some of it dumbs a lot of stuff down for people. And I kind of feel like if you're just relying on Ozone to fix up some of your mess, I just don't think it's ever going to sound good. You're just going to end up with a sausage, basically.
It isn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I quite like the individual learn features as well. Again, I don't always use them, but I think I see them as sort of starting points. So in each of the modules, and I have a particular, I've got it written down. I have a particular way that the modules that I choose, and I think Rich Hilton was saying that he would use the assistant to just try something different, and I get that, but I usually end up going back to what I'm happy with. If it's my stuff, I just do what I like. But if I'm working with somebody, then we will go through it together.
Yep.
I don't do that many mastering jobs, but.
Famous answer in the chat there. You can't polish a certain thing. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of us, we do get ourselves in little corners with our music and our recordings and that, and we just get into that rabbit hole and we start polishing.
Yeah.
And it's just going to end up being messy.
Remixing. Yeah.
Yep.
But you can roll it in glitter.
That's true. Well, Gary was a bit of a turd, wasn't he? When we're speaking of
glitter. I can't go through loads of glitter.
No. Yeah.
Boom, boom.
All right. End of all the regular segments. You guys can bring up anything you like.
Right, plug time. It's perhaps a bit late, but Jim Glue and Dubrek Studios tonight in Derby are putting on a night of various people. Jim himself, Resonator. Some of you might have seen some of Resonator's videos on YouTube, sort of acid techno. And a band who I've forgotten the name of, we really rate. But so from here, I'm going to be heading down to Derby. Oh, can I just share this one with you? I was supposed to be in Derby last night for Jamie Gearson's streaming of the event that was there last night. But I was on autopilot when I finished work, and I got in my car, and rather than driving to Derby, I drove back to Sheffield, and I was about a mile from home when it suddenly dawned on me I was supposed to have driven to Derby. I thought, no, I can't turn around. It's just so I missed that last night. So apologies to Jamie for not being there. Basically, I'm an idiot. I've got no excuse other than simply I went in the wrong direction. But I am going to Derby tonight. Jamie's show tomorrow on Sunday is an EMOM.
It's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. Yeah, so that's happening tomorrow into Ian. Then next Friday, unless I drive back to Sheffield by accident, I'm driving to Blackpool for Jamie's second EMOM in Blackpool, which will be streamed, which means that I probably won't be back in time next Saturday, Ranz. So I'm just telling you that now. So Jim's tonight and Jamie's EMOM stream on Friday next week, and then the week after that is EMOM Sheffield and Synthfest on the Saturday. So again, that's another one I won't be out, Ranz. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So next week we've got a spare spot. If anyone wants to jump in Brooksy's spot, let us know during the week.
The week after.
Actually, no, the week after. As well. Sorry. Oh, no, next week and the week after.
The week after is Synthfest.
Party time.
Of October.
Party time for 2 weeks.
So we'll try and sort of. There'll be loads of people there, so maybe we can do something on a little phone and do a link up. But I'm not that clever.
We said, you want to try and should we try and do some sort of stream from there?
We could, Ian, you'll grab me. We'll see if we can work something out.
Yeah, let's see if we can do something. It'll be good. It'll be good to come on, even if it's only for 5 minutes to sort of take you around the floor.
Yeah, leave one of the spots open for you guys. But yeah, so Synthetic wasn't here this week, so that's why we've got Kent, which was impromptu. Thanks, Kent, for being the impromptu. He will be back. I
literally live here. Don't worry.
He will be back next week, I believe. So Kent, you can shuffle down to Brooksy's spot if you want next week. It's up to you.
Yeah, sure, if you want me to.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back. It's been awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put the cat bed down.
While you guys were talking about that, I was trying to get my Strike Fet to respond to MIDI, and I don't think it's playing. I think I need to go reset it. Because I was going to get... Yeah, it's not playing ball. I was going to get my Strike Fet to... Because I can actually bring my Strike Fet through here and then plug it into the phaser. And maybe we could see what it sounds like. You know, because that's what you do. You put string machines through phasers. Just ask Jean-Michel. That's what he does. Well, he did back when I was a kid.
Is he a chef?
Yeah, he is. No, it's not working. I'm trying every single MIDI channel right now, and I think it's completely failing. Although, if I set this thing to arpeggiate, is this going to arpeggiate? No. Key step's not playing ball. I need to set something on the back of the key step. I think, what do you reckon? Should we use the Behringer piece of crap, VC340, VP330 clone? Should we do that? I've got a power supply.
Why
here.
piece of crap? It's a piece of crap. It's not a piece
It
of
is.
crap.
It is. You know, when I bought it, there were 3 buttons weren't working on it.
Oh,
that's why it's a piece of crap.
Oh, that's not good. That's sent it back.
I bet you the Rolands didn't do that. Okay. All right, give me a sec. I'm going to go and bring it over. Now, this won't be technically line level, will it? Oh, yes, it will. It's got the 2 outputs on this thing, hasn't it? Oh, God, this thing's heavy.
It's a heavy piece of crap.
It's a heavy piece of crap. Now, apart from the button going funny, it's been pretty good, actually. It's been pretty good.
It's lighter than the real VP3, so...
Does it have power? Yes. It has power. Power. But I need power. I need audio. What can I take audio from? Okay.
An audio output.
I have got... Yeah, let's take one of these. And
what do you mean that wasn't a helpful suggestion? I do apologise.
There we go. You got what I heard a little bit then. There we go. That's that. Let's pull that so that everything breaks. And bring that into here. What's that thumping noise? Where's that thumping noise coming from?
Oh yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's ensemble's buggered.
You reckon that's what it is?
Could be.
No, it's not. I've unplugged it. It's something else. Okay.
No.
You've got an oscillator set very, very, very low.
My heart rate at anticipation of what this is going to sound like.
It's going to sound like crap. Oh, that is loud.
Oh,
that
that's
is
nice,
loud. Okay, let's go to where is our little camera gone?
Vintage.
Camera.
It's all that hiss coming out the back of the VP.
Probably. Let's get this thing working properly first. Sorry. So many clicks to get this thing. I'll fix it in a sec, don't worry. Here we go. Let's take the effects off.
Whoa.
One thing I noticed about that, that by the way is the noise coming out the back of it.
Is that coming out the Euphoria?
Yeah. If I unplug that,
or is it effect?
That's coming out of there's nothing going into it now.
Oh no.
Right.
Oh, that's way too noisy. Sounds lovely, but...
Do you guys want to compare? I can compare that to... I'll just go back to us. Do you guys want me to compare that phaser to the Behringer System 100 phaser, which is the 1721? Just out of shits and giggles?
Why not?
Why not?
Go for it.
Okay.
It sounds... The Euphoria sounds raspier.
It's very
That's
aggressive.
a technical term.
But I don't know if I like the noise out of the back of it, to be honest.
No, that was very noisy. Mind you, and that...
So it's a lot more tame.
Yeah.
It's very Rolandy, isn't it? Let's just move this camera. So that's this. That's the LFO controlling it. Sorry there. That's the shift frequency there. By the way, I'm not even looking at what I'm touching on the keyboard. I'm just stabbing at white keys here. I might just do the old trick and just play black keys. It always sounds better. Then I don't have to look. That can get quite resonant there. Now, if I turn that off, there's no noise coming out the back of that. Whereas the Euphoria is very noisy. So, interesting, hey? Interesting dilemmas that we have with any types of effects.
Unfortunately, that noise has really put me off.
Has it now gone down in your estimation?
Well, is it faulty?
There it is there.
What? Because that doesn't... It doesn't sound like it should be like that.
No, surely not.
No, that's not right. That's not right.
When I've got the analog delay, the nostalgia. That's a little bit. You can hear some noise, but it's nothing like that.
Let's go back to it. I'll just show you what I'm doing. So there's nothing plugged into it. They're the two inputs there, right? There's completely empty. That's the level. All the way up. No, you can get rid of that.
That's the input level, isn't it?
That's the input level. So basically there's... The only problem with that module is I can't bloody read it because it's white bloody paint on yellow. And it's the most annoying colours ever. But, yeah. There you go. I could use that as a noise module.
You could. There's got to be a 2 HP phaser module, hasn't there?
How about this? I've got an idea. Let's take the output of that module and put it into the input of the other phaser module and see what happens. It's going to be interesting. This will be very interesting. Very interesting.
Phase noise. No, that's my opening patch. That's what I start my gigs with.
Oh, don't do it, Ranz.
Phase.
Why do you have to copy me all the time, Ranz? There we go. Can I get it louder? Two phasers competing with each other.
War the worlds.
No, I'm sure that shouldn't make as much noise as that. That really.
If you don't believe me,
Very...
There's my little camera. That is going into that phaser there. Let's change it.
Well, at the beginning of the show, Rant,
you went,
that's your favourite phaser from now on.
It is. It's still my favourite phaser. No, I love it. I mean, watch this. This is where it gets aggressive, right? This is what's cool about it. We didn't actually go to the aggressive side of it. And the aggressive side of it is actually really cool. I've got to get my cable back. Gets rid of that. We don't want that for now.
That is a noisy shifter circuit.
That is a noisy shifter. It's, look at that.
Noise.
Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, and what do I want? I want the... Oh, this is going to be nasty. Oh, I just love those amplifiers when they distort. Anyway. What else can we put the VP330 through?
Blender. Yeah, two words. Buy one of these.
I got one.
Written a Eurorack.
Got one. How about this?
Ranzee's got about 250 phasers. Right.
It's going to have like a museum of phasers.
There you go.
Two of them.
What's happened to me, VP? Sounds like shit now.
Well, it does.
Now?
Oh, no. Oh. No, I see what you mean.
Oh, dear.
I don't know. I've only got 4 things plugged into that. Oh,
sorry.
What is that
I thought you meant that VP.
They're actually not too bad. They're not too bad.
They're all right.
They're level.
Yeah, but they're all right, actually.
Pretty sure. They are. They're not too bad.
They're cheap. They're really cheap.
I'll be showing stuff off. I do have my... Where is my little phaser pedal?
Are we all showing flipping phasers off?
I haven't got one to show off.
Yeah, go on.
That's all I've got.
Waggle. Oh, he's got a small toe. Yeah. Oh, no, I see. The battery's supposed to go in there, isn't it?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that does not sound the same as the 70s one. Just, if anyone's going down to the local music shop, the one that Kent's got,
70s.
That one sounds completely different to that, and there's a major reason for it. And that is they completely balked that colour circuit here on this. Completely balked it.
Yeah.
Like it's basically useless.
Ooh.
I like it. This one belonged to Tangerine Dream.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
It's actually in really good nick too.
It probably used to hold the door open in the studio on a warm day. I don't know. It belonged to them.
Let me get my favourite phaser pedal, and I'll see if you guys agree. Hang on.
It better not be a CE one.
You talk about me because I can't hear you.
Bet it is.
Good.
Say anything you like.
We are doing.
Maybe I can hear.
It's got about, I can say about 250 of these things in a box.
I'll bring it back without showing. So no one saw what I just grabbed, hopefully. All right. Ready? There. Or do you want me to do that?
Really?
Why I like it is because it's 12 stage and you can get this thing to sound like an ARP quadra phaser when you switch it to 12 stage.
I won't go and get my Moog 12 stage phaser then.
Why is this that? Is this how big is your phaser? So flop your phaser out.
Got a Mark 1.
I'm going to give yourself a 30.
Out of interest, Rance, while you're there, on the back of your 12 stager, do you have a envelope in trigger envelope in on it?
I have. Well, I'll show you what I got. I don't think it says envelope in, but let me just get this to focus. There you go. Sweep, resonance, rate, amount,
sweeping,
audio.
Sweeping, yeah. If you put a envelope generator into the sweep in, that's how you get those super long sweeps from that Tomita used. Where you control the sweep time.
I love the sweep on this. It's beautiful. But is this standard CV? So this will take a standard envelope generator, like if I took it out of the back of a synth or a Eurorack or something like that? Or has this got some sort of special mode?
Theoretically, no. It'll be like a 910 volt gate signal.
Okay.
Envelope signal.
Yeah, because they've got that CP251, whatever it is, the Mogafoga box of tricks, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it did have some sort of EG thing in it. I could be thinking of something else, but a lot of the guys who use those pedals, they used to have like a Void. This was kind of the day of when the Voyager was their big, thing. And they would have had the Mogafoga pedals and the Voyager, and they were using the Voyager to manipulate the CVs and the pedals and that sort of stuff. So if I was to say, for example, take CV out of any synth, like, dare I say, even a crappy one like this, which has envelope out, right? Would that still be okay?
Theoretically, yeah.
Okay, good. We should try that.
Yeah. So that's how you get your sweeps to tempo time, if you so want them to. If you want the peak to happen at precisely a particular moment in the track.
Which is what Jar did really well.
And to me, it was using all the time.
Well, I read that Michael Gies, is that how you say his last name? Gies? He was the Jice? Yeah, he was the guy that kind of did a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't really realise. I heard that he actually sat there and twirled that knob to the point where when they recorded it on tape, he wanted to get it to the points in the music so that it actually had light and dark and all that sort of stuff. So if he was using the small stone, he would have been somehow manipulating the sweeps in that small stone. And that's, to me, I kind of feel that's what's wrong with this, right? This crappy, modern version of it is that colour, when you actually use the colour. I actually like it, but I wish there was a way that you could manipulate the amount. Like it's, I like how you've got with an envelope generator or with an LFO, you can actually say, okay, I don't want it to be 100%, I want it to be 80%, or you're attenuating it, right? An attenuator on that would be awesome, and I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard. Just one sec. We are good. Cool. We've phased it out today.
Well, I feel left out because I don't have a phaser pedal.
Oh, you're going to have to go get yourself one.
You got to get one, man.
I've only got a nano one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I've been just given the word from the missus that I've got to stop because she's saying I have to. But we've been doing it. We've been doing 3.5 hours anyway, so that's good. I much enjoyed this show. It was selfishly enjoyable for me, and I don't really care if anyone didn't enjoy it because I did.
Fair enough.
That's the main thing. Anyway,
that's great.
It was awesome having Darren and Kent and Ian and Andrew on the show. Like I said, next week we don't have Andrew, so we can put Kent down there, and we can have Andy back in Kent's spot, if you like. So that would be nice. Yeah. And anyone want to say a quick plug or shout out before we finish off?
Check Rave Dave's EP.
Yeah, check out Rave Dave's.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We played it earlier. You can watch the stream back. We played it earlier. Link was in the show earlier too. So if you missed it, rewind.
I'm still working on the special gift I'm trying to give to you, by the way. So it's not gone. I'm just working on it. It's just that Rave came in, chucked the keys on, and said, "Look, he wants to release his single, so I had no choice. I have to do what he says."
Yeah. Don't forget these people here, the chatties. Much appreciate all the chatties being part of the show. Awesome having you guys as always. So hopefully we will see you all next week. And in the meantime, if I can ever tell you to do something, and it's a nice thing to say, is press record. Please remember to press record on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Yeah. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, everyone.
And save as new.
Save as new.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't save as new.
Yeah.
Remember the memes that we had this week. They were good ones. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. And we're going to all say goodbye. And we're going to press this button.
Well,
bye, everyone.
See you
bye, guys. Bye, everybody. Bye, chatties.
Press the button.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good day.
Bye.